the elder. He's also 3 inches taller, but it's Jacob Kilburn with the reach advantage. Lillian Garcia gets the night started.
Well, good evening, everyone. We are live from Hollywood, Florida, with the 2021 PFL playoffs. 2 divisions remain, and they're looking to punch their and now we have a showcase bout in the light. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a striker. Standing at 6 feet tall, he officially weighs in at 156 pounds. In 19 professional bouts, he has a record of 13 victories and 6 defeats, with 11 wins by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, here is Brendan, the Human Highlight Reel, Jenkins. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he specializes in judo. Standing at 5'9", he officially weighs in at 154 1/2 pounds. In 12 professional bouts, he has a record of 8 victories and 4 defeats, with 6 wins by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, here is Jacob the Killer Kilburn. Your referee in charge, Gary Copeland.
We've got a killer fighting in our first bout of the night, and also a killer fighting in our main event tonight. So we'll bookend the evening with 2 guys called the Killer. Kilburn is in the red trunks, Brandon Jenkins in the black and gray. Jenkins in that loose southpaw stance, Kilburn orthodox. Low kicks exchange right off the top. Oh! They're getting right to it there in the center of our PFL Smart Cage. Push kick from Kilburn.
He's got a tight clinch there. Jenkins is going to need to use that, bring those knees up a couple times. They don't need to be hard right there, Randy. They just need to connect.
Absolutely. There, Kilburn catches one, almost able to put Jenkins on his back by catching that knee.
Kilburn doing a good job with shoulder pressure here. He's got his right knee inside. I'd like to see his left knee. I think he'd have a couple more options. That right knee's almost trapped him. He's going to be able to hold his opponent there, but I don't know that he's going to be able to sweep until he can get that leg free. Doing a good job, though. Head's in the right spot, shoulders pushing in.
Knee to the body there from Jenkins as he tries to work his own back off the Smart Cage barrier. Successful. A 1-2 just missing. There's the low calf kicks that have become the hottest move in all of mixed martial arts lately.
Did you get stung with any of those, Chael?
You know what, in practice, one time by Benson Henderson, and Randy, I swear to goodness, I thought he was trying to kick me in the thigh, and he kept missing. The end of the workout, I said, Benson, you didn't land a shot all day. He goes, yeah, but it hurts, doesn't it? That's how I learned. Oh, he was aiming for the calf. I didn't even know it. Didn't know the technique.
These 2 lightweights swinging away once again in the center. Wheel kick just misses for Kilburn. Overhand right caught Jenkins behind the ear. Kilburn very fluid with these strikes. Ooh, that was a nasty check.
Jenkins seems very committed to being a relaxed fighter. But Randy, there's a point where you're too relaxed. At some point, Jenkins is going to need to get a little offense off, not just try to show us that these strikes aren't affecting him.
Yeah, he's for the most part trying to be a counter striker. He's letting Kilburn control the center of the cage and really dictate the action.
It's almost an oxymoron, a commitment to relaxation.
Yes. And hey, I'll give it to him. He's going, the strategy he's going for.
Oh.
The relaxed, it is working. He is absorbing these shots, but at some point, you got to beat the clock and you got to impress the judges.
Impressive flurry from Kilburn there. And we've seen Jenkins switching stances back and forth. He's orthodox for now. We saw that left hand he landed just a minute ago. Was on.
Oh, big knee. That's it.
Kilburn is down and out. Brandon Jenkins timed it perfectly. Switch step jumping knee. What a finish in his PFL debut.
Wow, now we know why they call him the Human Highlight Reel.
Oh.
Boom.
Wow.
Really nice switch kick. to the flying knee, travels a lot of distance, gets there and lands it right on the chin of Kilburn.
That switching knee is very confusing, guys. Watch what you have to look for. Boom. You guys remember the Karate Kid? It's the whole reason Danielson knocked that guy out, because he changed legs. This is the same thing. In all fairness, look, one leg comes, but boom, it comes from behind. If you are in Kilburn's spot, you defend the first knee successfully. Surprise, the other knee's coming at your face.
Cageonomics Stats Bundle presented by Geico. Jenkins only landed 8 of them, but one was a big one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stoppage comes officially at 2 minutes and 56 seconds of round number 1. Your winner by knockout, Brendan Jenkins.
Carl Deaton, 1 year older. Alejandro Flores is 2 inches taller and has a very significant 7-inch reach advantage on the arms. Lillian Garcia starts them off.
In the PFL playoffs, it's win or go home. And now we continue the prelims with a showcase bout in the featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He is a wrestler. Standing at 5'7", he officially weighs in at 146 pounds. In 18 professional fights, he has a record of 13 wins, 4 losses, and 1 no contest, with 10 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Mount Pleasant, Michigan, here is CD3, Carl Deaton. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is a kickboxer. Standing at 5'9", he officially weighs in at 145 and 1/2 pounds. In 21 professional fights, he has a record of 18 wins and 3 losses, with 8 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico, here is Alejandro El Gallito Flores. Your referee in charge, Keith Peterson.
Flores, one of the biggest betting favorites on our showcase card tonight. Keith Peterson is equipped with our ref cam to give us an inside look at the action. There's an example of how close he can get us to those fighters. Flores in the green trunks, Deaton in the black and gray. Feeling out process begins here in the center of the PFL Smart Cage. Flores misses with an inside kick.
He pulled it up, Sean. He started to throw that and said, you know what? I don't think he just pulled, he put the tape in rewind. That kick usually sends you to 360. You look like a fool. Flores was able to stop it. Good body control. I'm going to give him that.
Touches the knee of Deaton with the outside leg kick there.
That leg kick business can be a risky game. We've seen a lot of that in MMA lately. Sometimes you have to ask the question, is the squeeze worth the juice? And generally the rule, fellas, is start everything with your hands, finish with the kick. And I do see guys getting in trouble when they don't set it up and go to that kick first. Whether Flores is getting away with it right now or not, I still maintain you can hide it behind some hands, you're a little safer.
Little cup check there with the open stance. We know it happens sometimes. The inside leg kick straight high for Flores. Deaton says it's all right. Let's get back to it with a touch of the gloves. Switch of the stance, back and forth goes Flores. Deaton jumps in behind a leaping hook, is greeted with a couple of shots to the body. Now Flores taunting a little bit as he paws out the jab.
I think Flores thought he hurt Deaton. He charged in, looking to put a finish on it. I don't think Deaton was hurt.
I think he slipped, didn't he, Randy? It looked like he slipped and Flores misread it.
It did look like a slip.
Back to the southpaw stance goes Flores. Orthodox once again, giving different looks to Deaton, who doggedly moves forward in the center of the cage.
And guys, when you see a fight like this that's very kick heavy in the onset, because the guys get afraid to close that range, to get within an arm's reach, that's where the danger can happen.
Kicking range and punching range are two different things, and these guys are staying out at kicking range mostly.
Well, Deaton just closed in, and Flores greeted him with a sharp knee right up the middle. That might be why Deaton has been hesitant to jump in. Nice timing by Flores. Stomp kick to the front of the leg there for Flores, landing on Deaton.
Deaton, I can see that jab, guys. It's right there, that left. He's just got to bring it up. He's got to reach that out. Whether it gets to the target or not, he's got to start finding his range and measuring.
Flores putting his reach advantage on display here early. He's the one keeping Deaton out at distance. Deaton's having to commit hard just to try and close in.
Deaton's left hand, it's loose, it's right there, but it's got to go in a forward direction. He's not going to open himself up. He can use the other hand to cross block. He needs to work on this. When he watches the tape later, Deaton, you got to pump that jab more. Right now.
Gets inside, throws a hook. Bit of a scoop right hand right at the middle, scored on Flores. Flores continues to work his own jab. Goes down to the body with it. Just one out to the thigh, it would appear. Front kick misses for Deaton.
This is the second week in a row we've seen that thigh punch.
And 2 weeks ago, we saw the
calf
calf punch as well. Gotta say, Randy, I'm glad I'm out of the game if I'm going to be expected to throw punches to people's legs. You know? 1 minute remains here in round number one. Body shot from Flores. He tries to dig to the liver. Measured pace here in the first frame. As these two fighters showing each other a lot of respect, trying to solve the puzzle of timing.
Again, with those hands, fellas, I really got to point this out. The lack of boxing is not because these guys don't know how to do it. I can see by their basics. I can see how these hands are up and moving. They're not finding that range, Randy. They're scared to step in. I'm only arguing over 3 inches right now.
Yep, they're both staying out at long range and kicking range. Neither one willing to step into the pocket. Deaton is trying to counterpunch. He's waiting for Flores to stick something out, and then he's counterpunching and moving into the pocket where he can land.
Combination there from Flores. He finishes it with a kick, goes to the body. 2 kicks in a row from Flores as we hear the 10-second clapper. Round one will come to a close with a minor flurry. Deaton charging forward. Little trash talk between rounds here. Round 2 ahead.
She can go down. I saw that sweep had happened earlier in the contest, but Flores ultimately did change elevation, went a little higher, and that one was clean.
Flores in the green trunks, Deaton in the black and gray. Fighter performance rating brought to you by Rich Energy in the favor of Deaton there in round number 1. Interesting observation from the algorithm.
Very close, 31-28. Can see some damage on the lead leg at Deaton. Those low calf kicks and knee, that knee kind of side savate kick both landed.
They tried it again, just as you said it, Randy. That one missed. Nice movement by Deaton.
Oh, there's that savate. That one hurt.
Body shot that they both finish up high.
Flores is running in with that liver punch, and he's landed 2 for 2. He's pretty tricky at it. I wonder what would happen if he disguised it just a little better, a little more traditional. Get that cross in there, dip outside. And Deaton's waiting. I'm seeing Deaton let Flores dictate this fight a little too much. Again, I want Deaton to pump that jab, but either way, he needs to start taking control. Guys, a fight is a dance. Only one person can lead at a time, and this has been all Flores.
Almost on cue, Deaton comes with a 1-2-3. Flores is able to move backward and responds with a leg kick. Flores in the tail of the tape, the longer fighter, and he's also fighting longer, Randy.
Yeah, absolutely. I get the respect that these two are showing for each other, but you're here in a showcase bout. To impress somebody in the PFL, you better be going out there and trying to finish fights, because that's how we score points to move on in this league.
Certainly.
This is obviously not a regular season fight, but Randy's point is well made. If you're trying to earn a spot on the roster, a careful decision, strategic victory might not be the way to do it. Oh, for Deaton lands. sits down Flores.
As quick as that was, Sean, you saw the difference in the power that the hands can do. The leg kicks are an investment. That'll pay off a little later, slow the guy's mobility down. Hands, right now, that's what the judges are looking for. That scored.
And we saw Deaton just reset after the knockdown. Is that the right thing to do, or should he have rushed in and tried to make something happen to capitalize?
Well, Flores recovered really quickly. I mean, the second his butt hit the turf, he was back up. A little flash, but he was right there. He wasn't gone at all. So it could be risky to rush in and rush into something.
Well, what a difference a day makes, guys. I mean, that just changed the entire way. Deaton just changed the entire assessment we would have for this fight. I believe he was losing first 7 minutes of this contest. I believe he's now ahead on this round, which could even things out should we see a third.
And the Smart Cage telling you that the live odds are changing in the moment. Deaton's still an underdog even after the sit down and even after fighter performance rating gave him round one. Again, judges are not privy to fighter performance rating. We have seen judges' decisions in FPR being consistent. Flores back in a southpaw stance, and now Deaton once again stepping in. Blood running from the nose of Flores. Deaton plants a foot on the cage. He said, I'll give you two.
Deaton's range really is this boxing range. They're standing at a kicking range right now. That's where Flores wants to be. Boom. Every time Deaton double crosses that in-written agreement, Deaton scores. I would encourage him to do it a little more often.
Deaton's being very selective, picking his opportunities to punch his way in and land some of those combinations.
The straight right left hook has been the combination of choice for Deaton. He wears another kick to his own body from a charging Flores there.
Randy, I'm thinking from Deaton, I'm thinking a little jab, I'm thinking slide in 3 or 4 inches, then repeat and do it again. I just argue he's costing him. He's just on the outside. I'm talking about 1/2 a step here could really change the offense that he's mounting.
When he decides to go, he makes that commitment and he goes all the way. But I think it's too little and too few. He needs to be a more offensive fighter. Oh, boy.
Nasty kick lands from Flores. We saw the switch knee in the first bout. That was a switch jumping high kick here in the second bout.
Deaton didn't answer for it either. Deaton let him get away with it. Judges are looking at these last 20 seconds, gentlemen.
Here comes the 10-second clapper, round two coming to a close. Once again, a strategic striking battle, a measured pace. Deaton tries to leap in and a check right hook to finish.
The most significant stuff came from Deaton. Rip to the body, nice hook right to the face, sets Flores right on his hind end. Flores pops right back up though, recovers very, very quickly.
That is our key combo presented by Lightboxer. Straight right to the body, left hook. Take a seat, young man. Nice recovery by Alejandro Flores though.
Gentlemen, there's always an interesting conversation from the announce team in moments like this. In boxing, that would be a 10-9, wouldn't matter. One knockdown versus none, you win the round. It doesn't have to be that way in MMA. It doesn't have to.
That front kick, kind of a flying front kick, but right up the middle, caught Deaton flush on the face.
All right, take a look at fighter performance rating brought to you by Rich Energy. I'm told there was a correction to the first round FPR score. Okay, corrected score gives Flores round 1 and Deaton round 2. So it's one apiece according to the algorithm.
And I'm only looking for one thing right now, gentlemen. I'm not looking for range. If they stay in kicking range where most of this has been, look for it to favor Flores. If Deaton can double cross that, get inside where the hands matter, look for him to take over the round.
Heavy leg kick from Deaton there. We've seen a lot of jumping techniques from both these guys. Jumping knees. Flores quadruples up his jab there. Moves to his left.
I think that's probably an indication that both these guys are trying to be explosive, trying to be dynamic.
Most of this fight has happened in the center of the Smart Cage, as our Acronis fight tracker would indicate. Carl Deaton especially liking to stay inside those indicator lines.
I like Deaton's fundamentals. I don't like that he won't take a step in. Look, if Flores is going to move and Deaton can't control that, fine, let him, but you got to step lateral. You got to cut him off. Try to get Flores to the fence. Anything to slow him down so we can make Queensberry rules and hands a little bit more of the offensive strategy by Deaton.
The right hand snuck through there. One at a time right now for Deaton. Now he goes jab and a hook to follow. Chael, especially when he walks Flores back here to the barrier, it's an opportunity. He can really close there.
Absolutely. Cut him off. Look, Flores is moving a lot, but Deaton does need to take ground. He can do that by cutting him off. Deaton seems a little happy to be a counter fighter. He's had some good moments, but he's halfway through a round. If we are tied up one apiece, these next 2.5 minutes really matter, and I think that Deaton needs to quit letting Flores decide and dictate where the range is.
Flores began this fight as a pretty heavy betting favorite. The live odds have now switched in the favor of Carl Deaton, and they switch one more time to make it that much more lopsided. Round 3 is more than halfway gone. Still waiting for the big moment in the third frame. Spinning back fist misses for Flores. Blood on the right side of Carl Deaton's face. Looks like a cut under the eye, perhaps.
Not only have we not seen this fight go to the ground, we haven't seen either athlete attempt to take it to the ground. This has not been about defensive wrestling. It's been about the removal of offensive wrestling. I think Deaton needs to commit here. I really do. I'm being hard on him, but I'm seeing promise when he lets those hands go.
I agree. Use that footwork, pick those opportunities to enter and throw punches, not just be a counter fighter.
Flores keeping him at range. There's another punch to the thigh. Flores doing a good job of keeping the fight out where he wants it, Randy, but his own offensive output has dropped.
Agree. I think if you got that reach advantage, you use that jab, find your way in, land those shots, follow it up with good combinations, and let those hands go.
Nice little capoeira technique there. Flores plants a hand and throws a long leg kick. The jab once again keeps Deaton at bay. Looked like Deaton was loading up for a combo. That time he goes. Inside of 1 minute now here in our third and final round in this featherweight showcase bout.
Notice now Deaton's starting to cut him off. This is the first time of the night, but he is starting to cut him off. Deaton is going to look for one last explosive flurry here. He's starting to measure him, but he's got to step. We're only talking about 4 inches here, guys, but he's got to step in.
Takedown attempt from Deaton, perhaps trying to steal the round. Flores having none of it.
I don't fault that strategy. I see what Deaton was thinking there. Should that have worked, it would have gained him a little favor. Now he's going to have to let those hands go. We're closing in on 20 seconds.
Deaton's got wrestling listed in his specialty. He comes from Mount Pleasant, Michigan. That is wrestling country. And guys kicking you like that, throwing those long kicks and crazy high kicks, it's a great time to time a guy and take him down.
Another back fist attempt. Deaton leaping with his own knee. That'll be it. 3 5-minute rounds in the books. Flores and Deaton. Cagenomics Stats Bundle presented by Geico has the count in favor of Flores. A bloody face for Deaton. How will the judges see it? We find out next. Bill?
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Daniel Torres scores the contest 29-28 for Flores. Judge John Rupert scores it 29-28 for Deaton. And Judge Elian Rodriguez has it 29-28 for your winner by split decision, Alejandro Flores.
And here's our tale of the tape. Bobby Moffitt, 2 years older. Jason Knight is an inch taller, and yet Bobby Moffitt with a 4-inch reach advantage. Lillian Garcia starts the action.
Welcome back to the PFL Smart Cage, where we continue the action in the featherweight division. Introducing to you first, Fighting out of the blue corner, he is a Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Standing at 5'10", he officially weighs in at 148 1/4 pounds. In 20 professional bouts, he has a record of 13 wins, 6 losses, and 1 no contest, with 9 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Homewood, Illinois, here is Bobby Wolfman Moffett. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is also a Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Standing at 5'11", he officially weighs in at 145 3/4 pounds. In 28 professional bouts, this veteran has an impressive record of 22 wins and 6 losses with 18 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Bluestone, Mississippi, here is Jason the Kid Knight. Your referee in charge, Larry Folsom.
Larry Folsom equipped the ref cam. He will oversee the action. Jason Knight in the green trunks. Bobby Moffett in the black and gray.
Ready? You ready? Go!
Touch of the gloves, and we are underway for another featherweight showcase affair. Jason Knight stepping in behind that pawing jab.
Both athletes like to list themselves as jiu-jitsu fighters, but if you look at their record, it tells a bit of a different story. Plenty of knockouts spread around this cage.
For all his jiu-jitsu prowess, Jason Knight took a brief hiatus from mixed martial arts to go try out some bare-knuckle boxing. So not a whole lot of jiu-jitsu there. Low calf kick compromises the balance of Knight there. Bobby Moffett tests one up high as well.
You'll notice with Knight, you know, he's got this length, he's got this height, he's lean for the weight class, but a lot of guys don't know how to use that. Knight does. Knight knows how to keep that distance, and he knows how to take it away.
Moffett continues to lead his combinations with kicks. Dives down for a double leg here.
Knight's got opportunity if he can get those hips back. He's gonna have to spin and get those hips back.
Knight on the back and north-south.
You'll notice that Moffett's head is trapped between the legs. He needs to push that knee off and get his head clear. Take a look at this, guys. I want to show you right here. This is the head. This head has got to come through the hole. He wants to bring it right over this hip. By the way, while I'm here, guys, hello, Mom. I'm learning how. What? How are you going to give a shout out? You tell me what you do in my spot.
Oh, the topside triangle.
Yep.
Inverted. Wow.
Randy, how can he manipulate that arm? Has he got to reach underneath and pull that wrist across?
It's about getting the right hip position to apply that groin or hamstring muscle to one carotid and be able to create the leverage to drive his shoulder into that other carotid.
Only 3 minutes left. Moffett's going to find himself in a real predicament here. Unless Knight's, because you can fatigue yourself. You can really fatigue your own legs right here. Knight needs to keep this lock while staying relaxed. A little easier said than done.
Moffett now trying to stack up, shake Knight off the top.
This is going to go from bad to worse, Sean, if he keeps sitting like this.
Well, I'll tell you what, one of the really unfortunate things about being underneath in a situation like this is you don't often drill being caught in a position as unorthodox as this. So the defense is not as instinctual sometimes.
And believe it or not, if Moffett can freeze the position right here, he'll be safer than any other spot. He sits back, he's going to get his ribs worked. He comes over top, he's going to get finished. He needs to run the clock out here or get Knight to give up on the position.
Moffett trying to work his own left arm back, and this is what you were talking about. Now Knight stepping up over, trying to grab the left wrist of Bobby Moffett, pull his arm across, because that creates the pressure you were talking about, Randy. If he can get his left arm across the face, then the deltoid starts to press on that left carotid.
Absolutely. He needs that proper angle with his hips to apply pressure on both sides of that neck to create the squeeze.
These are big punches to the lower ribs from Knight on top. 90 seconds still to work from here.
My goodness, Randy, do you remember when Phil Baroni was training with us and Phil would do that to the body shot? You could hear, you could dig in even in practice. I haven't heard a body shot not hurt like that since we were in the back room and Baroni was dropping those. I think on the late, great Evan Tanner, if I remember correctly.
That's correct. It's what got my attention, too.
Yep,
Moffitt able to work out.
Move.
Moffitt broke the body lock, peeled the leg off, and now they're back on their feet with 1 minute remaining in the first round.
Moffitt should feel very good about that. That was a mental exercise to be tough. He withstood it.
I think Knight's shaking his legs out, trying to get some blood flowing after being locked on there for so long.
Knight uncorks it. 1-2. One to the body. Little blood trickling from the face of Bobby Moffitt. Maybe a small cut under the left eye.
Couple good shots there by Moffitt to finish out the round.
Moffitt definitely moving forward now.
Inside of 30 seconds here. Moffitt pressing the action here at the tail end of the first round. Landed a hook. And a body kick.
Nice
that
body.
hurt him.
That dug in for sure.
And now Bobby Moffitt going to work. Grabs a clinch and a knee as we finish the round with these two dirty boxing against the barrier. Round 2 ahead.
Ready.
Jason Knight in the green trunks, Bobby Moffitt in the black and gray, the second of 3 5-minute rounds in featherweight showcase action.
And hey, those body shots are no joke, guys. That's not just to give you guys at home a laugh. You can see how Moffitt is moving right now. He's favoring that side. He's pushing through it, but he's feeling that in his midsection.
Fighter performance rating presented by Rich Energy favored Knight in that first round, but Bobby Moffitt roared back at the tail end of the round to score pretty well himself.
Let's see if Moffitt can keep that momentum going that he generated at the end of that first round.
Moffitt wants to get this fight to the ground, guys, but I think he should maybe second guess that strategy. He does a good job on his feet when he's active. If he's not taking control, right, the best offense is a good defense, and I will tell you, the best defense is a good offense. When Moffitt isn't staying busy, that's when Knight's attacking him. That scored.
Knee to the body. He's able to move off the center line with even in close. Now he's down on a single leg here.
Head inside single by Moffitt. Triangle attempt by Knight. Moffitt savvy enough to pull himself out of the situation.
I would argue a tactical error, Randy. I do not think Knight needed to pull guillotine there. It did not look like he's going to get it, particularly with the fence being there, and now he has lost position.
Agree 100%, Chael.
Live odds moving in the favor of Bobby Moffitt as he finds himself in the half mount.
That knee, OCD on the knee, push it to the mat. That's how you're going to get the pass.
Jason Knight trying to grab a butterfly with his own right leg. Moffitt settling into some work.
A little payback on the kidneys there by Moffitt. Said, oh, you want to put a period on my tattoo? How about I put a period on your tattoo?
How about that?
Knight's saying something. I can't tell if he's talking to Moffitt or the referee, but Knight is verbalizing something.
It looked like he was talking to the ref.
Joe, you can see that clearly because of the ghost cam. Brand new technology in the PFL that eliminates the chain link. We're actually looking through the smart cage right now, but you can't tell.
Greenberg was very proud of that, and I was impressed when he showed me that. Guys, I do want to talk about this position. My guess is that Knight's telling the referee, bring us up, nothing's happening. He's got an argument. If Moffitt wants to do damage from a grounded pound, he needs to sit up. He needs to create space. We call that posturing up so that you can pound hard. I don't know that Moffitt does want to pound. I believe he wants to pass, which is why his head is staying low.
Knight works his way back to his feet. And look, let's be honest. If you're asking the referee to stand you up, it's far from likely that the referee is going to take those instructions.
Whoa, Moffitt with the big double. Tries to pull the slam off. That's a pretty sticky Jason Knight, though. He wasn't followed too much for that.
Knight's got his left leg high up here for a lockdown. He'll try with enough flexibility to pull his own shin across the throat of Bobby Moffitt.
Knight's got good flexibility. Look, the only thing that Moffitt can't do is sit up in that position. He can't let there be any space, and he's not. Moffitt is driving his head forward, and that's what's stopping Bobby.
He really needs to put it in reverse, Moffitt does, and rip out of that position and then come right back in on top and get a better position. That mission control can be very difficult to deal with if you haven't spent a lot of time there.
Going to see a pass here, Randy. If he can stack him, and he does, he needs to pick a side and turn him.
Front quarter Nelson by Moffitt.
I believe I'm seeing Moffitt strategically kind of doing some math in his head, and the math looks like this. I'm down a round. If I can stay on top and keep control, I can even things up, and we're about looking good next round.
He can punch, if he can peel Knight's head underneath, he can punch his left arm through for a Darce attempt, but Knight is able to recover, and with those long, flexible legs, now he's got the body lock, closing his own guard. He'll try and turn on an arm bar here. Moffitt able to square the hips back up to negate it.
Moffitt is crowding. All of his defense has to do with crowding to stop space. I like what Randy said. Big movement, pull out. That way when you return, you've got the opportunity to pound a little bit.
Here's that go-go plata.
It's almost got his shin in position. You see him get that shin over the shoulder, under the chin, and he'll lock on that head.
He switches into a triangle. Didn't have enough time for
This
the
looks
go-go
like it might be tight. He might run out of time.
It's tight, but no time and no ability to get the right arm of Moffitt across his own face. Jason Knight in the green trunks, Bobby Moffitt in the black and gray, third of 3 5-minute rounds.
I've got this 1 round apiece.
FPR says it's Moffitt by a strong margin in round 2. Jill, you're right. Bobby Moffitt doing a great job here on the feet. He landed a body kick, a nice sharp one to the low calf. PFL, regular season, playoffs, and a championship playoff action. Semifinals later tonight in this division, featherweight and at light heavyweight, as Moffitt grabs a Thai plum and gets 1 knee for it.
And you have to believe it to see it, not see it to believe it. Your eyes are lying to you. While Knight looks to be more dynamic and a little more fluid, Moffitt is scoring. There's no air balls coming in the striking department by Bobby Knight. He needs to scramble here. This is going to be a big deal. If he can defend this takedown, he's going to take a lot out of Knight morally. This is a lot of effort. Knight needs this.
He climbs right up on to the back, the old Mississippi backpack. Bobby Moffitt trying to roll out of it, and he's able to.
Huge exchange.
Nice little fat man roll by Moffitt to change the position.
That is a huge exchange. Moffitt did not want to be on bottom. Knight just used a lot of energy. And why this looks clever, and you're at home, well, I don't know what he's doing here. Let me tell you what he's not doing. He's not going to finish the fight from this position. I'm talking about Knight. He's going to need to advance this.
Can you call it a fat man roll when it's featherweights pulling it off, Randy?
It's still the technique.
Names matter, Sean, right? He's not making these names up. That's what it's called.
You gotta call it something else.
That's
Look
interesting.
At that facial frame from Bobby Moffitt.
I'm not sure if this is just a lockdown attempt by Knight to lock him down so the referee has to stand them back up. I don't see a submission from that.
And Randy, the referee does have that latitude. However, it would be very uncommon from side control. And I'll put it as uncommon as I've never seen it before. I believe Moffitt is going to be able to stay in this position until, and then Knight's the one that needs to figure that out. Knight must advance this position even to be eligible for it to be stood back up.
Yep. Knight's got to get his feet back in this fight. He can't allow Bobby Moffitt to sit here in cross-side position and ride the minutes out, the seconds out in this round.
Very frustrating for Knight. Knight is trying to fight more than Moffitt is. Moffitt understands strategy. If he stays here, he's going to be able to run out a lot of clock.
Round 3 is halfway gone. You can see those live odds swinging heavily in the favor of Bobby Moffitt. Jason Knight's going to have to get off his back to make something happen.
And Randy, you don't know anything about this from Moffitt's standpoint because you've never been tired in a fight, but I have. I have been exhausted, and I have done that math. And I'm telling myself if I'm Moffitt, I'm in side control. Referee can't bring it up. I'm not hitting him. He's not eating me. I'm going to win this round. Right or wrong, that is what Moffitt is thinking right now, and I think that he might be onto something. Ray Seffel might not come congratulate him after the fight, but he could be onto something in terms of adjusting the psychology of the officials.
Jason Knight once again talking, I think this time to Bobby Moffitt, maybe trying to spur his opponent to some more desperate action, which would create space. Not the worst strategy if you're pinned otherwise.
Moffitt content with that deep waist. Just capturing those hips. of Jason Knight. Now Knight scrambling a little bit.
Moffitt will step around to the back. No hooks in yet. Knight getting all the way up.
And you're going to see a real sense of urgency here by Moffitt. He does not want to let Jason Knight go. He wants to grind this out on the mat. He's going to work hard to return him here.
Double leg, and he does just that. Once again, Jason Knight finds himself underneath the pressure of Bobby Moffitt with 1 minute remaining.
Moffitt trying to climb into half guard here, or half mount, as you like to call it, Sean.
Moffitt using that shoulder, trying to turn the chin away. Again, he's just trying to frustrate Knight. The more he can frustrate him, the longer he can keep him here, which Moffitt sees to his advantage.
And we're down to 35 seconds left in the third period. Had it 1 round apiece. You know, that takedown and control in the top position could be the difference in this fight right now.
They
30 seconds left for Knight to make something happen, and the referee stand up.
Stood him up from half guard. The referee has the right to do that, but I will tell you that is unusual.
Check hook there from Moffitt, who once again looks pretty solid on the feet. The onus is on Knight, and he's moving forward. Bobby Moffitt grabs a hold of Jason Knight one more time to end this featherweight showcase. Cageonomics Stats Bundle presented by Geico. Bobby Moffitt, 65 of 86 of his total strikes landed. You can see those ground strikes and the takedowns. Will that be the difference?
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges scored the bout 29-28. For your winner by unanimous decision, Bobby Moffitt.
A howl from the Wolfman, who brings 3 5-minute rounds again at featherweight. Anthony Dizzy is 4 years older. Jesse Stern is 2 inches taller, but the 4-inch reach advantage goes to Anthony Dizzy. Lillian, let's go.
22 nations have been represented here in the 2021 PFL season. And now we continue the prelims in the featherweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a striker. Standing at 5'9", he officially weighs in at 144.5 pounds. In 16 professional fights, he has a record of 11 wins and 5 losses, with 6 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Baltimore, Maryland, here is relentless Jesse Stern. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is a wrestler. Standing at 5'7", he officially weighs in at 145.5 pounds. In 17 professional fights, he has a record of 13 wins and 4 losses, with 7 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Reims, France, here is Anthony Dizzy. Your referee in charge, Andrew Glenn.
Anthony Dizzy in the green trunks, representing his home country of France. Jesse Stern, the American, will be fighting in the black and gray. Touch of the gloves, Stern in the southpaw stance. Randy, I'm immediately curious about how the wrestling matches up here, because if you remember his bout against Shaymon Moraes, Jesse Stern actually took Shaymon down a couple of times before the script got flipped and he got submitted.
Stern keeps switching leads. Dizzy in the orthodox lead, and I think if you're going to try to take him down, you want to be in that orthodox lead as well, so your head can slip right outside that lead leg, and you can follow through and drive to that takedown. Stern happy to pot shot, kind of pick his opportunities.
See if he can keep that pace. See if Stern can keep moving like this. This is a lot of energy, whether there's a lot of action or not. Eventually, Dizzy's at least expecting him to slow down a little bit.
Now, Chris Wade is fighting later tonight in our semifinals, and Anthony Dizzy was his first regular season match. Chael, I know you weren't here for that, but it was a razor-thin decision victory for Chris Wade. Dizzy had his moments in that fight as he stumbled backwards.
Sure, and I think that's a confidence builder. I really do think that Dizzy gained some speed there. His stock for me, as the viewer, and I'm talking Dizzy, it went up even in defeat. Dizzy is one of these guys as a wrestler. He's coming out and letting you know, not only do I want to be on the ground, I specifically want to be on top.
Stern moving, dipping, diving, ducking, dodging. One shot at a time, as Randy mentioned. Bubba Jenkins had a pillow. Chris Wade is sleeping on a backpack. Mocking Bubba Jenkins.
I believe that's an answer to the shotgun.
Oh, I like it. Well played.
Dizzy now in on an attempt here.
Dizzy needs this, guys. Dizzy does not go and force the action enough, in my opinion. He finds opportunities like this, so he can't really let this go. He's finally got his hands on his opponent. He needs to make this count. A trip would be appropriate. Dizzy could use that right leg, bringing it over the back.
It's like
Keep
he's
that
trying
shoulder pressure.
to work his way into a Metzger, capture the hips of Stern, and find a way to take him to the mat.
Randy, it's tough. That fence can hold you up. If you know how to use it, it can be your tag team partner, but that goes defensively as well. Stern can sit into this fence a little, let Dizzy take some energy out as long as he keeps his footing. Now Dizzy slipped behind him. Here's an opportunity. Dizzy needs to drag him to the mat. He can step the corner, pop his hips, but he needs to do something here.
Absolutely. That cage could be your best friend or your worst enemy.
Momentarily, Dizzy able to pick Stern up and set him down. Jesse Stern scrambles right back to his feet. Anthony Dizzy likes this type of fight, pressing his opponent against the cage.
Guys, I'll throw a fun fact at you, but the sport of mixed martial arts in the country of France, where Dizzy's from, has only been sanctioned about a year and a half, right in that 18, 20-month range. Dizzy's a big star within that country. He's got a little bit riding on this. He's got the body lock. He's going to have to stay busy here. Leg trips are his #1 option. I don't see him starting to step around.
90 seconds remain here in the first round.
Nice re-pummel by Stern. He'll take that underhook away. Dizzy goes right back in, gets the underhook on the other side.
Stern is able to separate here, throws a kick, eats a jab. Stern with some impressive quick movement even after that grueling performance against the cage. Being defensive there, it can get so exhausting. Jesse Stern showing some strong cardio in the early portion of this fight. Nice uppercut there from Dizzy. Good check hook from Stern. And another shot from Anthony Dizzy.
Now that's good defense by Stern.
Nice job catching that double coming in.
That's right. Dizzy was under those hips, but Stern was able to sprawl just a little and bring both arms inside. That's going to give Stern some confidence here.
Dizzy having some trouble finding the target. It's moving all over the place.
That left hook at least stumbled Stern. Was it balance or the impact? We'll find out maybe on a replay. 10-second clapper. Dizzy one more time tries a takedown as this round comes to a close. Round 2. Dizzy in the green, Jesse Stern in the black and gray. Fighter performance rating brought to you by Rich Energy and exclusive to the PFL. Gives round number 1 to Anthony Dizzy.
I'm not sure I'm sold on that. I must tell you, I really thought that Stern moved pretty well, touched him a couple of more times. Dizzy's starting to open up just a little bit here, and I think Dizzy's finding he needs to open up. He lost a couple of those takedowns attempts in the opening frames.
Dizzy did control where the fight happened in the first round with those clinches and having his back. But Stern's a difficult target to get a beat on. Relentless motion, probably where he got his nickname, Relentless.
And I get the matador strategy by Stern. I even like it. It's just I don't know if Dizzy's bringing the offense that you quite have to sidestep out of the way. I think at some point we're going to have to plant and start a fist fight, guys.
Nice body lock attempt here by Dizzy.
Once again, steps behind Jesse Stern. We saw him here in round number 1. This is what led to the takedown.
Dizzy vining in, got one hook in. The fence preventing him from taking the back and securing that other hook, that anchor on Stern's back.
It's going to be hard, though. It's going to be hard for Stern to get up from here. As soon as he dropped down to that right knee, it's very tough. And Dizzy can distract him, feint a rear naked choke, slip in a couple of punches, but eat up a little clock in this position.
Anthony Dizzy has that wrist ride on the far side. Stern has
full mount. Nope, back to half guard.
Stern trying to get that left arm in for an underhook, doing a good job of at least turning up onto a hip, not being flat on his back, but Anthony Dizzy continues the pressure from the top. Live odds shifting more heavily in the favor of Anthony Dizzy. Nice right hand from the top. What do you know about that ground and pound, Randy Couture?
Yeah, I'd like to see him get his head up and his hips in, put a little more pressure against the fence with Stern, and then Dizzy could land some power shots from that top position. But Stern, very wily on the bottom, does a great job of creating scrambles, using his feet, keeping his legs in the fight, making Dizzy work to keep him down there.
Dizzy's been in this exact same spot 3 other times in this contest. When he stays patient, when he starts fighting those hands, he generally can drag his opponent down. But Dizzy, I'd like to see him step to the side, Randy, and just pop his hips a little more. I'd like to see him get a little more explosive. Right here, Stern faces in and is getting this underhook. Stern could come out with a takedown.
Yeah, Stern's in very, very deep. Big attempt. Dizzy doing a nice job of countering it, ends up in top.
Good counter wrestling there from Anthony Dizzy. 90 seconds remain here in the second of 3 5-minute rounds as he tries to work some more strikes from the top. Take a look through our ref cam. Dizzy trying to get his left leg free, move fully into side control. Stern doing what he can to maintain some control. And Dizzy is able to free his left leg. Moves over to the side. More shoulder pressure from the Frenchman. Shoulder punches from the top. What's the key for Jesse Stern in these final 30 seconds?
He
Joe?
just did it. He got that underhook that allowed him to circle towards that underhook, get to quarter position here. As long as he protects his neck, he should be in pretty good shape here. Start hand fighting, isolate a hand, and get back to his feet, which is exactly what he was able to do.
Stern is able to work back to his feet. Can he mount any offense in these closing moments? There's a right hand and a little flurry. Couple of leg kicks from Jesse Stern.
Oh, nice flying knee attempt.
A takedown, but after the bell. Round 3 next.
Stern looked to be the fresher fighter at the end of that round, for sure.
Touch of the gloves to start round number 3. Anthony Dizzy once again wins in the FPR algorithm. Stern scored some points with that last second flying knee as he grabs a leg kick as well. And another.
Randy, you talk about Stern being the more aggressive fighter. I'm seeing the same thing. Stern needs to start believing in himself. He needs to start understanding, I've got to mix it up. I can't just move and control. At some point, I must touch my opponent. When he plants his feet and gets off, he does some good combinations.
Agreed. He has got to wade in and, like you said, get into a fist fight.
I tell you what, Anthony Dizzy's striking is not pretty, but it's effective. He's landing the straight rights. He's landing some of these jabs, and he's keeping Jesse Stern reacting and at bay, even in the stand-up exchanges. There's a left hand and a double up on it from Stern. There's the right hand sneaking through from Dizzy again. And Chael, you already mentioned this. There's a lot of style to Jesse Stern's stand-up, but we need more substance if he's going to turn the tide here in the third round.
Yeah, that's right. We always want to tell a guy, you know, about the footwork and the head movement. Look, he's doing a good job with that, but the other side of that coin is there's some balance. You've also got to reach out and touch somebody. And frankly, when Stern believes in himself and doesn't, he mixes things up well. He's going against the clock right now, though. There's no time to wait. He's going to have to start turning this into a little bit more of a shootout.
I think he needs a finish. I mean, I have it 2 rounds to Dizzy at this point. He controlled the positions and where the fight happened in the first and second round. I think Stern has to find a way to make a finish.
My belief in watching is that Stern was afraid to mix it up because he didn't want to be taken down. Frankly, Randy, he's defended things very well in the open. It's once he gets pushed into the fence from his over movement that's cost him. I think right here, keep your feet right on that PFL logo, start letting those hands fly.
Agree, he's got to let those hands go.
I got to tell you, I feel like I need to educate the viewer here, though. Jesse Stern has a sexier style on the feet, but Anthony Dizzy is landing just as hard or harder, even though it's not pretty. And once again, overcommitment allows him to get to a spot where he wants this fight to be. He's on the leg of Jesse Stern, wrestling against the cage, and that has been successful in the first 2 frames. Shayman Moraes looking on. He will be the last bout here in our showcase features on ESPN Plus before we switch to the simulcast and winner-go-home playoff action.
Boy, Dizzy is patient. You got to give him that. I mean, he's just pushing through stuff 1 inch at a time, 1 gate at a time. Come from the leg, come up to the body. He's not in a hurry. It's very methodical, but it's effective. I got to give him that.
You see the live odds down there as the smart cage tracks the strikes. Anthony Dizzy now the overwhelming favorite here, just as Jesse Stern reverses position.
Dizzy going to get that shoulder low, trade the position. Now, Dizzy needs to really step this right leg in if he wants to hold him here. All right, he's going to elect to go down to the legs. That's not going to work. Stern's already got those underhooks. He's going to pull him back up.
90 seconds to make something happen here for the American Jesse Stern. The Frenchman Anthony Dizzy has put on a methodical, grueling, so far effective performance.
Is Stern, it's almost like he's starting to mimic a Dominic Cruz type footwork and style of fighting.
I'm seeing it.
But he's not landing the effective strikes and punches that he needs to win this fight.
He shakes his head. He says, no, you didn't land that one, Anthony Dizzy. But Jesse Stern didn't land either. It can't be just gestures and gamesmanship, and defense is its own reward. You don't score points for slipping punches. There's a leg kick.
Mickey Ward, who's just out of view of camera here, but is looking around confused at all this movement by Stern. He's waiting to see a little bit more leather fly.
20 seconds remain here in the third and final round. Jesse Stern is laughing and smiling, but he's losing this fight. I don't understand the antics. Inside of 10 seconds, Dizzy with an uppercut. One final right hand misses, and 3 5-minute rounds are in the books. The Cageonomics stats bundle those numbers favor Anthony Dizzy, who controlled a lot of where this fight happened and outlanded Jesse Stern 2-1.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges scored the bout 29-28. For your winner by unanimous decision, Anthony Dizzy!
We take a look at our tail of the tape. Chris Camozzi's been around a long time, but he's still a young enough man, 34 years of age, both standing 6'3". Corey Hendricks weighed in at the 205-pound limit. Chris Camozzi came in light. He also has a 5-inch reach advantage. With that, we go to Lillian Garcia.
As we get closer to our semifinals, this next bout is in the light heavyweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a striker. Standing at 6'3", he officially weighs in at 205 1/2 pounds. In 11 professional bouts, he has a record of 8 victories and 3 defeats, with 7 wins by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, here is Corey Hendricks. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is a kickboxer and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He stands at 6'3", weighs in 203 1/2 pounds. In 41 professional bouts, this 15-year veteran has a professional record of 26 victories and 15 defeats, with 15 wins by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, here is Chris Camozzi. Your referee in charge, Gary Copeland.
Gary Copeland equipped with the ref cam. Camozzi in the
Round one, you ready, blue?
yellow and black. Corey Hendricks in the black and gray. Southpaw Camozzi, Hendricks in the orthodox stance.
Quick disclosure, I used to train with Chris Camozzi. I've known him almost a decade. I will call this without biasness, but I thought you should know that.
Both of these men impressive as we showed you the highlights of their last bouts. This was a pick'em. The sports books don't know who's going to win, and I'm very excited to see how it plays out. Well-rounded skill sets from each, but as we already talked about, the advantage and experience weighs heavily in the favor of Chris Camozzi. How much do you think that will be a factor? These guys are only a year apart, but 2 different careers, Randy.
Absolutely. Both guys have the ability to grind, and it has a potential to be that kind of fight. Both guys skilled, well-rounded. Anywhere this fight goes, they have answers. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out and who presses their will on the other guy.
What I know about Chris from training with him but also watching him, he has a problem with overwhelming wrestling abilities. Anything short of that, and Camozzi's in the match.
Hendricks survived some nastiness early from Martin Hamlet, and he wore Hamlet down. He came on strong late in that fight, got the finish in the 3rd round. So even if this ends up being the kind of back and forth affair we expect it to be, don't expect either man to go away as we get further in. Switching stance here for Hendricks, who's now a southpaw. Switch foot, lands the right jab, goes back to orthodox.
Hendricks generally likes a fight with a pretty high pace. He's not able to get that pace going yet on Camozzi. He wants to. I can see it. I can see him, that look in Corey's eyes, but he's just not quite finding that range to get the scramble, get the action started quite as hard of a heart rate as he likes.
Where's the low? Where's the low after that? Yes. Back to the jab. He's still right-handed. Now he's southpaw. Be careful. Yes, there you go.
Hendricks attempts a high kick, but it's Camozzi's corner who is calling for it. Another one from Hendricks misses. Camozzi has gone with the basics, the bread and butter, the jab cross. It's landed more than once.
He's sitting on it nice, too. He's putting good power on that.
Hendricks sneaks another one through. We know that Camozzi's chin is more than adequate.
Taking Camozzi out of this realm needs to be a priority for any opponent, not just Corey Hendricks. When Camozzi was a free agent, before he came to the PFL, signed with Ray Seffel and company, he was being offered professional kickboxing fights, and I only offer that to let you know this is where Camozzi likes to be. Even if he plugs you down just a little bit, even if it's not this overwhelming power, it still exists, and this is where he likes to fight, on his feet with a little bit of range.
You're absolutely right, Jill. Camozzi stepped away from MMA for a while, spent a couple of years in glory kickboxing, winning record over there. So he's got the jiu-jitsu. You saw multiple submission victories on his record. He honed the striking arts, and right now they're paying dividends early in this fight. Hendricks keeps switching back and forth from southpaw to orthodox. Counter punching from Camozzi. He lands a two-piece.
Hendrick wants to get his hands on him. Hendricks is aware of that. He just hasn't quite figured out yet how to close that range. Right, Randy? You can see he wants to dirty box. You can see he wants to get around that neck. He just hasn't seen his opening.
Yeah, I think the off stance, that's why he keeps switching to this same southpaw stance. It's easier to make that transition, get that takedown, get in deep when you're both in the same stance. It becomes a lot trickier when you're in the opposite stance of your opponent.
Camozzi spent 3 different training camps out at Serra-Longo training with then middleweight champion Chris Weidman. So I bring that to you because Camozzi learned a little bit about wrestling. He learned to keep guys at me. Whoa, a little bit of a switch kick.
Nice little hook kick or
Randy,
question mark.
Finish that thought. Tell me, you started to say it a minute ago, but why does Corey keep changing his stance? You think he's looking for wrestling versus striking?
That's the only thing that makes sense to me, is that he wants to close, as you said, and it's easier to close when you're in the same stance as your opponent. When you're in that open stance versus the open stance, it makes it much more difficult.
Strong round from Camozzi in round 2 next.
Hendricks is doing an interesting thing there. He's switching his feet as he throws that punch.
Camozzi in the yellow and black, Hendricks in the black and gray. FPR gives round number 1 to Chris Camozzi. Algorithm says he doubled up the score of his opponent. You can see the smart cage tracking strikes would agree the output drastically in the favor of Camozzi. Hendricks staying in the orthodox stance right now. Special showcase fight at 205 pounds. Both of these guys, I think, did enough in their last regular season bouts to impress the boss, but a victory here would cement that.
Camozzi's starting to bother Hendricks here. Camozzi's finding a couple of these shots that I think are a little harder than we've given him credit for. Here, Corey comes in, closes the distance. He's going to have to hold him here.
I think Camozzi thought he had him hurt. He went hard a little bit and walked right into that double leg.
Yeah, I can't tell if Hendricks was playing possum on purpose. You know, he turtled up a little bit. He put both hands up and let his back fall against the cage. Camozzi rushed in, used that to time the takedown, but nice work by Chris Camozzi getting back to his feet.
He's not out of the woods till he gets his arm free, and I'm talking about Camozzi here. Hendricks is around the back. All right, there Camozzi's got it safe.
Double underhooks, body lock. Hendricks counters nicely, floats his hips out, and puts Camozzi on the ground.
Camozzi now trying to work
leg
for
lock
a
attempt.
Leg lock, heel hook here. Hendricks will attempt to spin out.
Got a scramble by Camozzi, and he does. He comes out on top.
The legs intertwined here.
It's a tough position for Hendrick to get unwound from. All of Camozzi's body weight blocked on that leg, trapped under Camozzi's hips. Nice job by Hendricks. Right into the back position. Big trouble here.
It's under the chin of Chris Camozzi.
Yes, it is.
Hendricks switching to the short choke here.
Notice Camozzi's left arm. He's holding that elbow. He needs to come under the elbow. All right, Hendricks helped him out. Hendricks didn't have it. He let it go. Looked like some opportunity.
Camozzi did a nice job of switching his hips and getting that butt cheek towards the mat and changing the angle of the rear naked choke.
Camozzi needs to make a hard turn to his right. He needs to get his right elbow down, switch hips here. He can come out on top of this, but he's got to move. He's not moving. Camozzi needs to get this elbow off the chest and get it to the mat, Randy.
Absolutely. Do a hip heist. You should do a hip heist and come out right on top here. Hendricks doing a nice job of binding in on that cross leg. It's going to make it hard to switch his hips.
A truly neutral position here on the ground. Neither man able to mount any offense. Camozzi finally flips over, but he doesn't have the leg free, and Hendricks chain wrestles and switches to the top position. Camozzi got a butterfly in already on the left side. He'll sit over.
Camozzi's looking to get 2 hands on this wrist. You see him watching across. That's going to start a stand-up or escape. He's not going to try to turn this into a rubble wrist lock or a Kimura, but he does need to get that control. Slow Hendricks down. Hendricks not being as busy as he could be on top. Hendricks is getting greedy. He's wanting to finish here instead of starting to plod away a little bit.
Hendricks looking for that arm triangle if he can isolate that far arm. But Camozzi doing a nice job of keeping that arm glued to the mat, not letting him get under there.
Hendricks looks like he was going to try and use that as an opportunity to pass, but almost got swept. Chris Camozzi, as much as we talk about his striking, he's very, very talented on the ground and experienced here as well. Hendricks working hard to try and keep Chris Camozzi stuck to the mat.
Kimura attempt.
Chris Camozzi, tight angle on that arm.
He can get his left hip to the ground. There's opportunity. It would surprise me, but if he can drive that left hip to the ground, he's definitely got that arm bent.
Got the right angle on it, and that is a nasty Kimura attempt. Hendricks looks like he's gutting this one out. Camozzi uses it to gain the top position.
He's in trouble. That's hurting. That's really putting a lot of stress on his shoulder. You can see it on his face.
That was a nasty Kimura attempt from Chris Camozzi. I'm surprised.
Oh, he gets out.
Hendricks is able to rescue his arm, but not before surrendering the top position to Chris Camozzi, who goes to work with the left hand. Choke attempt from Camozzi to finish the round. Hendricks pulls his head out. Round 3 when we return. My arm does not move like that. That would have been too much for me. Corey Hendricks guts it out. We'll see how healthy that arm is here in round 3. Chris Camozzi with a strong FPR score.
Would have been cartilage skipping across that mat if that was me out there.
I tell you guys what, this could be this could be tied 1-1, very realistically.
Low kick there from Chris Camozzi. Grueling fight so far, both men breathing heavy. Nice stiff jab from the right hand of Corey Hendricks in the southpaw stance. Looks like he hit Camozzi hard. Little stumble from Camozzi, might have been more fatigue related.
Whether we're even 1 round apiece or not isn't relevant. What I'm suggesting for you is that both fighters knows that if they believe it, and they both know they need to win this round, we're about to have some fun as viewers in the next 4 minutes.
I think it might be 2-0 to Camozzi, but we've seen the judges disagree with fighter performance rating in the past. High kick misses for Corey Hendricks. Don't forget, his last outing here in the PFL Smart Cage, Corey Hendricks pulled one out of his hat in the 3rd round. He will grind for as long as there's time on the clock. Camozzi comes in behind the jab.
He's gonna look to shoot here. You should stay sharp.
Nice body kick there from Hendricks. Camozzi returned with a sharp jab. Combination from Camozzi, couple of those hooks, finding the ear of Corey Hendricks. Body shot.
Camozzi had Hendricks covered up. I'm not sure why he kind of backed off and let him off the hook there.
I believe Corey played possum with Camozzi in the 2nd round. I think Camozzi's worried he was doing it again, Randy.
Yeah, you might be right, Chael. You might be right. He went possum in the 2nd, and Camozzi walked right into that double leg. He may have smelled that same setup again.
Camozzi, keep using those jabs. Keep your hands low. So when he gets, when he extends, or when he throws those crosses, that double becomes open.
Don't wait. Stay in rhythm.
Inside of Camozzi's corner.
He's looking to shoot. Stay smart.
Chris, rear side counter.
Yeah.
Well, Camozzi's corner called that one. He was looking to shoot. He was on point. Sometimes it's easy to see things from outside the cage that you can't see in the heat of the battle.
Jab to a 10. Very, very basic, very clean kickboxing right now by Camozzi.
Hendricks trying to move in behind his own jab, and now he's winging away.
Nice head movement by Camozzi to miss with that hook.
Camozzi looks great, and I need to spread that compliment to Chris Weidman. I think maybe their time together. Look, Camozzi's doing some real anti-wrestling tonight, picking some real good, clean, basic shots with his kickboxing, and he's scoring points.
Inside of 2 minutes here in this light heavyweight showcase bout. Camozzi's got the body lock. Hendricks able to shrug at least one arm off. Reverses position. puts Camozzi's back to the cage. Nice head movement again from Camozzi as the right hand came through. Left hand sneaks over from Camozzi. Another.
Oh, nice one.
And the jab.
When you find something that works, go back to it. With the theory being, if it caught him once, it's going to catch him again, and that's what you just saw. Same 3 combinations in a row by Chris Camozzi.
He's setting that trap, that little head fake. Hendricks is biting on it, and he's landing those shots in that combination.
Hendricks is a little worn out. It's one shot at a time. Camozzi here in the 3rd round has put several meaningful combinations together. And now they go back to wrestling against the cage.
In all fairness, Camozzi is overperforming for me just a little bit. Am I undercounting my partner? I don't think so. I know him pretty well. Watching this pace, watching how he dealt with the wrestling, even found that submission, whether he finished it or not, one of the better versions of Chris Camozzi I've seen.
Hendricks is able to reverse position and press Camozzi to the smart cage. But with 30 seconds remaining, it would appear he needs a finish to pull this one out after another strong round from Chris Camozzi. Ten-second clapper. Combination from Camozzi. A knee from Hendricks in the final seconds. Camozzi presses Hendricks one more time against the cage and raises his hand. Chris Camozzi thinks he's done enough. Take a look at our Cageonomics stats bundle presented by Geico. Chris Camozzi nearly tripled up the strikes landed. More active with the kicks. The takedowns in Corey Hendricks' advantage. But Camozzi's strong in the counter wrestling still.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. And the totals are 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28. All for your winner by unanimous decision, Chris Camozzi.
Let's take a look at our tail of the tape in this featured showcase bout. Lazar is 2 years older. Shimon Moraes is 1 inch taller. Both weighed in at the 146-pound featherweight limit. 4-inch reach advantage goes to Shimon Moraes, the Brazilian. One last time on the showcase bouts, Lillian Garcia.
That's right, Fight fans. This is your featured bout on ESPN+, and it's in the featherweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. He is a striker, standing at 5'7". He officially weighs in at 145 1/2 pounds. In 22 professional bouts, he has a record of 14 wins and 8 losses, with 9 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, here is Lazar Bomber Stoyadinovich. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is also a striker, standing at 5'8". He officially weighs in at 146 pounds. In 17 professional bouts, he has a record of 12 wins and 5 losses, with 6 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Niterói, Brazil, here is Shimon Moraes. Your referee in charge, Keith Peterson.
Keith Peterson will oversee the action in our final showcase event here, 145 pounds. These 2 featherweights set to square off. Shimon Moraes.
Sir, you ready? Fight.
In the green trunks, Lazar Stoyadinovich, the southpaw, in the black and gray.
Guys are a little quicker than the action we've seen tonight. You can just see them in the way they bump and they bounce around. You can see it in their step. Explosiveness is upon us, fellas.
It's like Shimon is content to sit back, wait, and try and counter whatever Stoyadinovich brings.
Left hand comes up short for Stoyadinovich.
Moraes is considering starting this thing with a straight cross as well. You can tell the way his shoulders are starting to line up. He's thinking about bringing that power hand to the party first.
Keeping his distance for now as Lazar tries to work his way in behind a jab. Front kick misses. Yet to see something from Shaymon other than feints. There's a jab. Couple of kicks here from Lazar Stoyadinovic. Clash in the center. Stoyadinovic tried to bring a knee up the middle. That landed on the chest of Shaymon Moraes.
Stoyadinovic did a little trap. He reached out with that lead hand, patted down that lead hand of Moraes, and tried to come over the top with his power hand, and then followed it with that knee.
Body kick from Stoyadinovic on the exit. He worked his way into the single leg. Wasn't able to finish it.
Randy, there's only two options from what I've seen. Either Moraes is setting something up or he doesn't know this round has started.
That might be true, Chael.
Well, as far as his activity and history being a great trajectory through the future, he generally gets something going by now. I'm not discounting him, but he might be counting on one home run. I don't know what it is he's looking for.
Wobbled Shaymon Moraes, wore one off his ear there. Big winging right hand for Stoyadinovic, who now grabs Moraes and dumps him to his back.
It is not terribly uncommon.
Right to the mouth.
It is not terribly uncommon when you're coming off a loss to be hesitant in your next outing. And I fear that maybe we've got a little bit of jitter still getting worked off here for Moraes.
No, Shaymon Moraes coming off that Kimura victory. It's Stoyadinovic who's fighting off a loss. And now the wrestling from Moraes as he lands on top of Lazar.
And in our first day together, Sean, perhaps you didn't know, but please don't let your facts get in the way of my story. In the future.
It appears that Shaymon Moraes has woken up, to your point,
I agree with that. Lazar doing a good job of getting up.
Chael's FPR just plummeting after the incorrect statement there.
Even Babe Ruth struck out sometimes, right? They're not all home runs, guys. Lazar's got double underhooks here. He's going to need to pull Moraes off the fence to be able to score with this, but he's in a good opportune position here. Right now, again, he's got to pull him off the fence.
Nice reversal of position there. Stoyadinovic good, Randy, when they break or there's an exit. He's always throwing something out.
Yeah, he's not letting you off the hook without making you taste something.
High kick attempt misses for Shaymon Moraes. There's a hook from Stoyadinovic who says, come on, let's do this. Kicks himself off balance. Moraes.
That's what happens every time I try that, too.
That's why I never kick at someone's head, Randy. I don't have the flexibility for it. Beginning of round number 2 here. FPR score goes to Lazar Stoyadinovic.
All right, they worked it out. They worked it out between them. Moraes is not waiting to get this second round going. It looked, at least at the beginning, he came right across.
Yeah. Nice stiff
Push
jab.
kick to the face from Shaymon Moraes. Already more activity in the early goings of round 2.
Big body kick.
Double underhooks again here for Lazar. Presses Shaymon Moraes against the smart cage barrier. Drops down to a single. Left hand goes to work for Shaymon Moraes.
Lazar good with the pressure. I'm just not sure that Lazar's best strategy isn't to just break free. I think he does some of his better point scoring, attention getting from the open. I think he's done a good job with the hands and kicks tonight. I don't know that he needs to take this to a grappling realm just yet.
Stoyanovich complaining a little bit about a collision of heads there in that clinch.
High kick attempt from Moraes after the double jab. Right back to the clash. Stoyanovich chasing Shaymon Moraes now. Chest to chest again. Big toss from Shaymon Moraes. Good recovery from Stoyanovich. And a knee. Much more furious pace here in round number 2. Suffice to say they are both awake at this point.
Stoyanovich trying to draw him into that brawl. Get him to a trade and get into that nose-to-nose. Let's see who's tougher type of battle.
Body shot. One to the chest.
Well, Lazar's only got one switch, man. It's on. He is coming after Moraes. Sometimes good, sometimes a little bit untactical, but he's moving forward either way you want to slice it.
Stiff left. Another clash of the heads.
Moraes leading with that power hand, leading with that power kick.
Lazar comes in behind a jab, swinging the left hand. Timeout from Keith Peterson. The open stances causing a couple of collisions there. Forehead to forehead, forehead to nose. Referees asking both fighters to watch it.
Very common in an open stance. Guys clash heads a lot.
He's a one-shot. I need numbers.
Nice body kick from Moraes.
He's loading up everything on the backhand where his power's at, but he's getting it to the target, guys. If you're fast enough to get this deal, Moraes, that's what you want to do.
Moraes catches a kick, single leg, dumps Stoyanovich to the ground, but only for the briefest of moments. Back to the feet goes Lazar. Closing in on 1 minute remaining in round number 2. A lot of back and forth action here. Step in knee from Moraes. Stoyanovich glances a left hand off the top of Moraes' head. High kick. Nice right hand from Moraes.
All power, guys. Everything he's throwing. Very few feel out. Very few jabs.
Stoyanovich is in trouble. He's in trouble.
Waddled it down and now turtled up. Can he survive it?
Get in there.
Keith Peterson steps in. Shaymon Moraes, 2 in a row. Head kick, glances off the guard.
Both swing and a miss. There was a delayed reaction from that head kick, I think.
It was.
No, it was the overhand right afterward. They clashed in and it kind of skipped off the top above the ear. Let's see that replay one more time if we can. Ref cam.
Oh, that was solid. Yeah, that's it. Caught him high. Left side of his temple.
He's trying to hang on. Lazar Stoyanovich saved by Keith Peterson. One more look at it.
Oh, I see it from that angle.
Yep.
It was the delayed reaction, all right, but it was that right hand.
Landed on his own arm as well. Disorientation there for Lazar Stojadinovic as the hammer fist come down.
And to Lazar's credit, he is not trying to get out. He's trying to find a way to fight. He's just not real sure where he's at right now.
Tell you what, that was a 50-50 proposition. Both guys step in,
Whiff, yeah.
lead foot down, and right over the top. And it happened to be Shimon Moraes who found his target. Cageonomics Stats Bundle presented by Geico. A lot of back and forth in this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stoppage comes officially at 4 minutes and 45 seconds of round number 2. Your winner by TKO, Shimon Moraes.
Fighters in the cage and our tail of the tape presented by the Marine Corps. Cesar Ferreira, 36 years of age. Martin Hamlet has yet to see 30. He weighed in at the 206-pound limit. Cesar Ferreira with a 3-inch reach advantage. Lillian Garcia starts these light heavyweight playoffs.
Good evening, everyone. We are live from Hollywood, Florida with the 2021 PFL playoffs. We begin the evening in the semifinals with the light heavyweight division. So get fired up, cause it's about to get real. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a wrestler. Standing at 6'1", he officially weighs in at 205 3/4 pounds. In 9 professional fights, he has a record of 7 victories and 2 defeats, with 5 wins by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Tønsberg, Norway, here is your number 3 seed, Martin the Dark Horse Hamlet. His opponent fighting out of the red corner, he specializes in capoeira. Standing at 6'1", he officially weighs in at 205 1/4 pounds. In 23 professional fights, he has a record of 14 victories and 9 defeats, with 8 wins by stoppage. Fighting out of Boca Raton, Florida, by way of Brazil, here is your number 2 seed, Cesar the Mutant Ferreira. Your referee in charge, Larry Folsom.
Larry Folsom equipped with the ref cam. He will take us inside the action should we deem it necessary. Cesar Ferreira in the black and yellow, Martin Hamlet in the black and gray. Southpaw versus orthodox, the Brazilian standing southpaw. Body kick from Martin Hamlet to open things. An injury here for Cesar Ferreira. Falls down in pain after the kick. And just like that, Martin Hamlet books a spot in the 2021 World Championship.
All right, this one's to his body, and I thought maybe it was a foot. It's the opposite leg.
It's a hamstring.
He's got to pull
the hamstring. Yeah, he pulled a hammy when he threw that front kick.
So again, at home, notice the kick he landed. It's not that leg he reaches for, it's the back one. And it's right on the hamstring. Yes, it would appear he pulled a hamstring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stoppage comes officially at 13 seconds of round number 1. Your winner by TKO and clinching a spot in the 2021 PFL World Championship, Martin Hamlet.
And there is our tail of the tape, brought to you by the Marine Corps. Antonio Carlos Jr., 1 year older. He's got a 2-inch reach advantage in the arms. The reach advantage in the legs goes to Togo, Emiliano Sori. Lillian Garcia gets them going inside the smart cage.
The fighters in these semifinals are looking to punch their way to the PFL Championship, which will be held right here at the Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida, October the 27th. You can join us live. Right now, we continue in the light heavyweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Standing at 6'2", he officially weighs in at 205 1/2 pounds. In 18 professional bouts, he has a record of 11 wins, 5 losses, and 2 no decisions, with 9 victories by submission. Fighting out of João Pessoa, Brazil, here is your #1 seed, Shoeface Antonio Carlos Jr. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is a striker. Standing at 6'2", he officially weighs in at 206 pounds. In 32 professional bouts, this veteran has an impressive record of 23 wins, 8 losses, 1 draw, with 22 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Rio Cuarto, Argentina, here is your #4 seed and the 2019 PFL Light Heavyweight World Champion, Emiliano Dogo Sordi. Your referee in charge, Andrew Glenn.
Andrew Glenn will oversee our second light heavyweight semifinal. Martin Hamlet watching this with great interest as he grabs a little pizza after a hard fight camp. Sordi in the yellow and black, Shoeface in the black and gray. Argentina versus Brazil. Touch of the gloves and we are underway.
Take a look at this realm, gentlemen. I think we're going to see a lot more boxing than many people predicted in this fight.
Randy, if you remember when we went back to season 2, 2019,
yep,
Sordi's championship year, he said, all I needed to figure out was my mental game. And he did. He went and saw a sports psychologist, he got it dialed in, and we saw the results. But does the mental game get thrown off again by the regular season he had this year?
No, I think the mental game came into play. He had to fight some adversity and use those mental skills he developed in 2019 to gut it out and get through those wins.
Feeling out this striking process here. Sordi got crazy power in both hands, keeping that lead hand circling around and loose. Shoeface misses with a jab, lands with a right hand. Sort of a slapping, chopping, straight right from Shoeface.
Sordi took it. Sordi stepped forward on that. I thought that got through as well. Shoeface was starting to cut off the ring a little bit, guys. He was starting to sidestep and side. He stopped doing that. I think he's going to stand here and trade at least for a while.
Dances outside of the range of Emiliano Sordi for a moment here. The right hand just misses over Shoeface's left shoulder.
Shoeface does a good job of tucking that chin right into that shoulder.
Mickey Ward in the audience probably appreciating that technique. Winner of this bout will move on the little quick little eye poke there. An apology from Shoeface. These guys former training partners. Good sportsmanship to be expected in this one, but both of them want that trip to a championship. Punch to the chest there from Emiliano Sordi.
Sean, I didn't have that scoop. These guys used to share a practice room, huh? What's the story on who thinks they won those goes?
Well, that was a long time ago, so it's hard to say.
It's a big deal. That's a big deal that Sordi just stopped that shot. Shoeface cut him off, blasted that double, and was nowhere near landing it.
That right hand touched the left cheekbone of Shoeface. Sordi walking him down, trying to put Antonio Carlos Jr.'s back to the fence.
Ooh, that big overhand right just missed.
Nice, stiff, hard leg kick there from Antonio Carlos Jr. He's able to partially check the return.
Shoeface will switch stances. I think he does some of his better work at these power shots when he's fighting out of southpaw. He's orthodox right now. That could be relevant.
Interesting here, Randy. Shoeface is doing a good job of maintaining the necessary distance defensively, and he dives in on another takedown attempt.
He punched his way into that one. With 3 punches, they didn't really land, but it got Sordi backing straight up and allowed him to continue into the barrier and get in deep on this double leg.
Important position, Randy, for both guys. If this gets stuck, and it did, that's going to be a confidence builder for Sordi, and that's going to make Shoeface think twice about going for another takedown.
Absolutely.
Little cup check here. And a timeout.
Errant knee?
I think so.
Nice job by Sordi to dig in, get that underhook, trade places with Shoeface, put him on the fence, and try to go to work there.
Randy, before the takedown attempt, and we'll get a quick replay here on the, I think it was a knee.
Yep,
Yeah,
there it
just
was.
a little bit south of the equator there. I was making the point that Shoeface was staying out at distance and retreating when Sorty started his combinations, which was making Sorty reach a little bit with the overhand rights. We've seen him be most successful when he really turns that rear toe and throws straight rights. The overhands have not been quite as successful for him. If he can manage the distance, I'm saying, sorry, if he can close and get to a spot where he doesn't have to throw super long, that's the punch you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back to the action we go. Emiliano Sordi, 2019 champ in the yellow trunks. Antonio Carlos Jr. wears one over the left ear. He's in the black and gray.
Nice combination. A left rip to the body, overhand right to the head by Sordi.
Perfect. Yep, that's it. Yeah, you got his timing. It's the right hand. It's your right hand. Look at your right hand. Yep, that's the one. Feint first.
Now Sorty's starting to stalk Randy. Now Sorty's the one moving forward. This round has changed very, very much, at least from a strategic standpoint by both athletes.
They traded stiff jabs there, but yes, Sordi on the offensive here. Twice we've seen Antonio Carlos Jr. attempt takedowns. Twice he has been rebuffed. 30 seconds remain in the first round. Trip to the championship on the line in this semifinal.
Nice straight right on the inside by Antonio Carlos Jr.
Another jab lands, but the right hand misses for Sordi. Shoeface doing a good job of not taking the brunt of both punches or all three in a combination inside of 10 seconds. One more right hand and a hook from Sordi. That'll be the end of round number one as Shoeface, 21 PFL light heavyweight world champion. He will face the winner of the bout you are seeing in front of you in the smart cage. Emiliano Sordi, Shoeface, Antonio Carlos Jr. Slight FPR advantage goes to Sordi. The verdict fan vote would agree. Argentina versus Brazil inside of the smart cage. Chopping kick to the lead leg from Sordi.
Randy, I want to explain this to the viewer, but I don't quite know the words. I feel, and I've got a nervousness inside, something is about to happen. I feel both of these guys are playing a dangerous game, and I'm just kind of on the edge of my seat. You have two knockout artists standing on the logo.
Your spidey senses are going off. Is that what you're telling me, Chael?
Are you feeling that? Like something's, I cannot look away from this fight. I am very into it. And I realize we got a lot of feeling out, we got a lot of moving, but we also have two guys that are quite literally toe-to-toe.
That was, he bent at the waist and reached for that. That wasn't a real takedown attempt. This is a little more of a commitment to that takedown, which makes you wonder if he's feeling the pressure.
That's right.
Randy,
poke in the eye.
The check hook from Emiliano Sordi opened up a cut over the left eye of Shoeface.
And maybe it's the side of that blood. Sometimes your own blood puts a little desperation in your heart.
Right hand gets over that time. Emiliano Sordi starting to figure out the spacing and the timing. Jab to the body. Shoeface continues to wipe away the blood from his own eye. Nice leg kick, but Sordi ate a right hand for those efforts. Another right hand partially deflected. They traded a jab for a right hand that time. Good movement defensively from Sordi in that exchange.
Excellent, seeing that coming.
Sordi has done his best work inside the smart cage when he throws 3 and 4 and 5 punch combinations. So far tonight, it's been 1 and 2. Now a little blood maybe trickling from the Argentine's eye.
He uses those combinations when he hurts a guy, though, when he stings him, and then he unleashes those combinations that are devastating. He hasn't really been able to do that yet with Antonio Carlos Jr.
Body shot from Emiliano Sordi as we take
Let's
a look
go,
inside
Shoeface.
Antonio Carlos
Let's
Jr.'s
go.
corner.
Definitely some blood coming down the left side of Sordi's
2
cheek
minutes.
as well.
You're feeling great. You're doing great. Let's go. Let's build up. Jab and exit. Up top. Jab and a body strike. He does not have speed. Let's go. Let's go. Jab and exit. I need 2. I need a combo.
One piece of bad news if you're Team Shoeface. He does his best work on his feet, specifically with that rear hand and the cross. Sordi certainly knows that. You can see the way Sordi circles. You can see when Sordi throws, the way he dips out of it. If he can continue to stop the cross of Shoeface, at least in the stand-up, he's likely to not be knocked out.
Nice job slipping out of the single leg attempt by Sordi. It's the 3rd single attempt in this round by Antonio Carlos Jr.
What's your interpretation there, Randy? Is Shoeface feeling something that we're not quite seeing? Is he feeling, I've got to get this to the floor?
It definitely feels to me like he's reaching for those. It's not a huge commitment on his part, and that makes me feel like he's feeling a little pressure from Sordi.
Tell you what, Antonio Carlos Jr. has started to reach his jab and right hand out. Those are long punches, very long arm. Just misses with the overhand right. Sordi's hands were down as he avoided it. Sends his own right hand back. It's 1-2. It's 1-2. It's only 2 from each of these individuals. Knee attempt there from Antonio Carlos Jr. Gets him in to a takedown. He's on top. With 20 seconds left in the round, Emiliano Sordi kicks him off and gets back up. But Shoeface still controlling the hips.
Nice job by Sordi to create that space and pop right up, because he was literally just going to stay there and continue to get a beating.
Final seconds of round number 2. Round 3 when we return. The 3rd and final round in a light heavyweight semifinal. There's the ref cam look at the embrace as Emiliano Sordi, the 2019 world champion, looks to return against Antonio Carlos Jr. Shoeface. FPR gave round number 2 to Emiliano Sordi. The fans gave round number 2 to Antonio Carlos Jr. And I think that the broadcast table might agree with the fans on that one. I think the takedown late in an otherwise very even round might have stolen it.
I agree. I see that exactly. I think it was very close. Both guys tit for tat in most of the striking, and the takedown stole the round, in my opinion.
And there was a flurry of ground and pound. Not saying it had a lot of power, but there was a lot of contact. I thought that flurry was helpful for Shoeface.
Exchange of jabs here, and you can see as the smart cage tracks the total strikes, it's a razor-thin margin here. Back and forth they go, tit for tat. PFL World Championships are right here on October 27th. And the winner of this one will face Martin Hamlet. There's your Acronis fight tracker. Emiliano Sordi has spent most of his time inside the indicator lines. A lot of this fight has happened on the feet. Antonio Carlos Jr., the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, probably wants to get it down. He's been unsuccessful on most of his attempts, and here he goes again, trying to get Emiliano Sordi to the mat.
Sordi has with his left arm there what we call a side whizzer. If Sordi takes that side whizzer out, he's going to get taken down, and he did. He put it back in. He took it out at one point. He put it back in. But if you're watching at home, focus on the left arm of Sordi. If it stays in the armpit, his chances are good. Still, they're still good. Nope, now he's got problems.
Now he's got Antonio Carlos Jr. on his back. He grabbed the cage. That's only one warning he's going to get. That was a significant grab. Might have kept him on his feet. Antonio Carlos Jr. controlling Emiliano Sordi here.
Sordi has an option to elbow from here. A lot of guys won't do that. It's more a nuisance than anything, but it will force Shoeface to move. Sordi's just not quite throwing him. Now notice he's gone back to the side whizzer.
Of course, no elbows allowed in the PFL rule set. And now Antonio Carlos Jr. takes the back of Emiliano Sordi, hooks in. A Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion. Riding you in this manner is not an ideal situation for the 2019 world champ.
Emiliano Sordi has a Brazilian backpack there for a second.
Sorty trying to get his hips off this cage. Antonio Carlos Jr. dogged in the attempt at a takedown here. Sorty digging for an underhook, and he's able to get his hips free.
Hey, excellent defense.
Steps out of it. 2 minutes remain here in the third and final round. Nothing doing on the wrestling attempt from Antonio Carlos Jr. again.
If I'm Sorty, now's the time to turn it up. He just spent a lot of energy trying to hold on to you for over a minute. Those arms are going to be weary of Carlos Jr. Now's the time to step up.
And the psychology is interesting, Randy. Does Sorty believe he's up 2-0? Does he believe he just needs to close the round? I would not think so. A fighter of his caliber, I would believe he's 1-1.
And in a fight this close, sometimes it's about effort and output. And right now, that advantage goes to Antonio Carlos Jr. here in round 3. A jab snuck through for Sorty there. Low kick. Another attempt for the single leg here, Antonio Carlos Jr. The underhook stops it for Emiliano Sorty, who throws knees to the body. You hear the corner say, un minuto, 1 minute left in what might be the deciding round here in a light heavyweight semifinal. Spinning back fist from Sorty as Antonio Carlos Jr. continues to pursue this takedown. And he gets it late in the fight. Sorty gives up his back, trying to stand back up. Now he's got Antonio Carlos Jr. with a hook in. Here come the left hands from Shoeface.
It was good grip by Shoeface. He got stuffed 4 times. He went back to a 5th attempt.
Yeah, the amazing second effort of Carlos Jr. here is really what's winning this round.
Left. Antonio Carlos Jr. trying to get Emiliano Sorty to the ground one more time. We'll go to the judges' scorecard and they will decide who faces Martin Hamlet in the 2021 Light Heavyweight World Championship. Here's our Cageonomics Stats Bundle presented by Geico. The takedowns for Antonio Carlos Jr. Remember, it's important where those came. One of those was at the end of round number 2. Wasn't enough to steal that round. A couple of them here in round 3, but were they effective in the eyes of the judges? Antonio Carlos Jr. got beat up a little bit to the body, wore some leg kicks. You saw the blood trickling down off the cut on his left eyebrow. That means some of that damage absorbed by the head. Let's take a look at the Rich Energy replay. Walk me through these, Randy.
There's Sorty with that rip to the body, overhand right, and he used this combination several times very effectively. There's Antonio, level changing, reaching for a leg. That was the uppercut that cut Antonio Carlos Jr. There's a nice right hand by Antonio Carlos Jr., and that one looks like it put the cut on Emiliano Sorty. Here's the deep double leg, changes directions, pulls him out from the fence. Here's the little foot sweep, has the hips captured, climbs right into good position. Another double leg with those hands locked, pulls those legs out. And there's the camaraderie between 2 warriors right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. And the totals are 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28. All for your winner by unanimous decision and clinching a spot in the 2021 PFL World Championship, Antonio Carlos Jr.
We take a look at our tale of the tape in this semifinal presented by CarParts.com. Both men are 33 years of age. Chris Wade is 2 inches taller. Each of them weighed in at the 146-pound max limit at featherweight. Reach advantage goes to Bubba Jenkins in the arms. The opposite is true in the legs. With that, we send it to Lillian Garcia.
The $6 million pursuit continues. And now we turn to our attention to the co-main event of the evening, and it's in the featherweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a wrestler. Standing at 5'8", he officially weighs in at 146 pounds. In 20 professional bouts, he has a record of 16 wins and 4 losses, with 9 victories by stoppage. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Virginia Beach, here is your number 3 seed, Bubba Jenkins. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is also a wrestler. Standing at 5'10", he officially weighs in at 145 1/2 pounds. In 25 professional bouts, he has a record of 19 wins and 6 losses, with 6 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Islip, New York, here is your number 2 seed, Chris Wade. Your referee in charge, Gary Copeland.
Gary Copeland will oversee the action here in what will be an impassioned featherweight affair. Chris Wade in the green, Bubba Jenkins in the black and gray. Right to the center we go. Bubba goes right up over the top of Chris Wade.
Well, I've seen a lot of things, Randy. I haven't seen that.
I saw Crouching Tiger.
He just scaled him.
All right, Bubba in. This is gonna matter right here. Bubba in, Bubba fresh. Bubba's got this tight. He's starting to secure the hips.
Good scramble here from Chris Wade. He had the hard whizzer first. Now Bubba's in on his hips again.
Chris is gonna need to push that head, get a straight arm. Saw Ray Lewis a moment ago. It's like football. You gotta get a straight arm in there, lock it out, try to get some distance.
Are you saying that because you know, or are you saying that because you saw it on TV?
Well, you know, the Heisman has something like, I know the straight and the arm is relevant. I actually saw it because I just saw it happen to Antonio Carlos Jr., but Wade, the fence can do one of two things, guys. If Wade's head hits the fence, it's not working against him. If he can keep his shoulder blades on the fence, he can use that as a partner. He can start to wall walk.
Bubba trying to get that seat belt, trying to trap that bottom wrist, which would prevent Wade from keeping his elevation. Now he's got one hook in, he's got Wade's back.
And he's dry. He's got it early when he's dry. Wade does have opportunity. If he can slip this elbow through, he's got opportunity to reverse this. Bubba's now adjusted.
Wade back to his feet. Bubba still hanging on his back. Bubba Jenkins the favorite here. Take a look at the live odds at the bottom of your screen. Remember, newcomer Bubba Jenkins here to the PFL. Chris Wade has been to these playoffs before, twice as a lightweight. Bubba once again brings Chris Wade down to his butt.
Chris trying to threaten the neck of Bubba Jenkins. He looks like he's got a pretty
Got
deep.
something in.
Yeah, he's got
Bubba
it.
has to spin out of it. Successful in doing so. And now Wade uses that to scramble back to a position where he's in on a takedown attempt.
Good effort by both guys. Wade's gonna have to get his head up. If Bubba can just keep that head down, keep him looking at the mat, Wade's not gonna finish this. He's gonna need to swing that head out, and Bubba knows it.
Strong submission attempt there early from Chris Wade. He made Bubba Jenkins abandon all offense and address the choke. Halfway gone here in round number 1. Chris Wade, Bubba Jenkins. Wade pressing Jenkins against the barrier.
If I'm Wade, I ditch this and back out. Get clear, make him reset, and go back to striking.
Yes, a lot of energy. Put the tape in, rewind, reset this thing. Wade's body's gonna go wherever he's looking. He's looking at the mat right now because Bubba's doing a good job of pressuring him down, but he's gonna have a hard time advancing this position.
Bubba now underhooking the leg of Chris Wade as we take a look through the ghost cam. There's chain linking your way, you just don't know it because of the miracle of PFL technology. Chris Wade underneath Bubba Jenkins here.
Now Wade's starting to get his head up.
This is a page right out of John Smith's book here with the low signal.
Yeah, that's right. Bubba's clinging to him. It's going to be hard to do much. But Wade is making progress. That I can tell you. He can come all the way out of this. Perhaps, Randy,
He's come out the back door. He could start, yeah, I was waiting for that right there to start doing some damage from this top position.
Now Wade has 1 minute to work. in north-south. Can he make something happen against Bubba Badman Jenkins?
Here's the first time we've seen Bubba on the bottom.
Wade once again hunting for the neck of Bubba. Bubba will look to shrug him up and over the top. More wrestling, just like we expected. These guys going back and forth in the grappling exchanges.
Wade needs to keep that left arm where it is. Talk about his arm. Keep that what we call a side whizzer.
Keep that whizzer in tight. Use those hips.
Now it's Wade's. Wade's led the side whizzer.
Cradle. Nice cradle by Chris Wade.
Chris Wade uses the cradle to reverse Bubba Jenkins.
Excellent.
Lands in the cross ride.
Little ground and pound. Got him hemmed up pretty good against the fence there.
Hey, he can steal the round if he stays right here. We'll have a real spirited conversation on who's winning this round if Wade finishes on top. Take these little pot shots.
Trying to score. A couple of these right hands are sneaking through the guard of Bubba Jenkins in these final 10 seconds. Back and forth. High-level wrestling. Round 2 ahead. Second round featherweight semi-final action. Chris Wade in the green, Bubba Jenkins in the black and gray. FPR score goes to Chris Wade in round number 1. Interesting. The fans also like Wade's work there. Southpaw stands for Bubba Jenkins. Chris Wade switching back and forth as he is wont to do. Spinning a little wheel kick there from Chris Wade to finish. Furious wrestling pace in round number 1. Both these guys are in great shape, but there's no way that round didn't sap some of the gas tank, Randy.
No doubt about it. And I think that, you know, if I'm Chris Wade, I think that's what I want to do is force him to grapple, force him to wrestle, force him to spend some energy. The question is there a bottom to that energy with Bubba Jenkins?
A couple of jabs have landed here for Bubba Jenkins. Chris Wade has scored with the kicks. More action in the striking game now. Bubba comes in behind a hook cross and attempts a takedown.
Bubba's got to watch his neck because Chris Wade has pretty slick submissions from here. His guillotine is not bad. We already saw Bubba have to bail out of a position because his neck was threatened.
And I can tell you that's why the FPR score went in the favor of Chris Wade. A submission attempt like that scores very high in fighter performance rating.
Here's a Kimura.
Kimura grip here from Chris Wade.
At least enough to change the position.
Yeah, more used to create a scramble and get out of the situation he was in. Now he's trying to anaconda choke. He's almost got it locked on. Bubba doing a great job of getting that arm back and taking that tension out of Chris's anaconda choke. Chris going to try and use his knee to get it in. He might have it. It looks like he lost his grip on the other arm now.
Chris Wade's girlfriend, Stevie Marie, watching the action with great interest here. Hoping to see Chris Wade make his first trip to a PFL World Final.
Chris is nullifying one of the great
He's got that anaconda locked.
Yes, he does. He does now, Randy.
He sits into this. This could be big trouble, and Bubba's already reacted. He's trying to get out. Chris has got it in deep.
And he's got plenty of time halfway through round number 2 here. Bubba Jenkins on the defensive right now.
Bubba's sitting to the hip. That's what you do when you're trying to relieve pressure.
Yeah, Chris has to do the same. Chris has to follow him over there and dig that in. Cinches that up on the carotid.
You see the right hand of Chris Wade snaking through and grasping his own bicep as he works his left hand higher and higher onto the back of Bubba Jenkins. He'll try and kick his legs over and sit through this.
He's ditched it. He let it go. You have to be careful about how long you hang on to that. You're using a lot of arm energy.
Good timing on the explosion from Bubba Jenkins to get himself.
Here, he's got another deep choke.
Oh, it's tight.
That's tight.
Choke.
That is
this
real
one
tight.
Is very tight on the neck of Bubba Jenkins.
Bubba's spinning out again.
Has to spin out.
This is brilliant. Chris Wade doing a great job of attacking the neck and making Bubba question, putting himself in that position for the takedown.
Brutal crossface here for Chris Wade.
Chris Wade's use of the fence to his advantage is frustrating Bubba. It's not something a wrestler deals with. And it appears that Bubba didn't get enough practice time up against the wall. That's what I'm seeing. He is pinned, he is frozen, and he is confused as to what to do to escape this position.
I think we're seeing a few firsts here. We saw Bubba on his back for the first time since I've been watching him.
During fighter meetings, Chris Wade told us that maybe for the first time in his career, his fight camp was all about him. The focus in camp from his coaches and everything was preparing him for this. Guys up against the wall, up against the cage.
Chris Wade's got one anchor in. He's got a deep choke. He gets that other anchor in. It's going to be tough for Bubba to turn out of this.
Brendan Loughnane, the #1 seed here at featherweight, facing Movlid Khaybulaev in the main event coming up shortly. He's watching this with great interest.
Wade's squeezing up top, but he's not using a ton of energy. He's settled in on his hips right here. He is holding Bubba down.
Yep, he's using his weight in this position to keep him trapped there. He might go, I thought he was going to step over for an armbar attempt there almost, but I think that would have been a mistake. He's in great position. Why give that position up?
Chris Wade
He needs to start punching is what he needs to do.
in a 3-quarter mount here to close out round #2. Finishing this one on top. Odds now swinging in Chris Wade's favor. Round 3 ahead. Round 3 set to begin here. There's a look through the ref cam. Chris Wade in the green, Bubba Jenkins in the black and gray. FPR goes to Wade again. Fan verdict gives round 2 to Wade as well. So if those scores are accurate, and they're not official judges' scorecards, it'd be 2 rounds to 0 for Chris Wade, who scores with a leg kick. And now, a heel kick to the side of Bubba Jenkins' face. Bubba coming in, swinging heavy.
Nice right hand by Bubba Jenkins.
Right to the back of Chris Wade here for Bubba.
Well, guys, deja vu. We've been here the last 2 rounds, the same exact spot. Bubba trying to come on top.
Chris is going to come out the back door.
He is
Chris is going to come out the back door here. Bubba's got a good grip on that far side arm, though.
Bubba's got to adjust and keep his hips on top of Chris's, and frankly, he's already lost that position. Chris needs
Too
to grab
high.
that
Chris is
wrist
going
and
to come
keep
out the
moving.
back.
Bubba's going to try and switch to an armbar attempt here if he can get the right leg over Chris Wade's face. Wade already addressing it.
Wade's all but out, guys. Wade is choosing to stay here, waiting for the perfect moment, but he's already safe.
No, he's out now.
Out and
Nice
on top
job. Uses
and
the
into
cradle.
side control.
It looked to me like Bubba conceded right there.
Well, I told you that first round, the furious pace was going to sap the gas tank. And then the second, just as nasty for Bubba Jenkins, if not more so. And now Chris Wade on top, big time shoulder pressure.
As I was mentioning in the break, we watched every time they flashed to the dressing room, Bubba was working out. He was warming up hard. For over an hour, we saw him at least 3 times. I'm wondering if he spent a little too much energy in that workout, or in that warm-up getting ready.
Yeah, I mean, it's different for every fighter, right? Sometimes guys will just do something light, and they'll really kick it into gear 10 minutes before they make the walk. Sometimes people want to warm up for 2 or 3 hours before they actually step into the cage.
Chris considering a north-south choke right here, but guys, look at this. Look at how Wade is using that fence. Randy, is this a lack of preparation by Bubba? What do you suspect? Has he not been in a practice room here? He looks lost.
Well, I don't think he expected Chris Wade to put him in these positions. So I guarantee he didn't do any worst-case scenario training and put himself on his back or put himself on the bottom against the cage. He expected to be in those positions with his opponent there.
Now Bubba trying to grab the neck of Chris Wade.
I'm surprised Chris stayed down there. Chris had a choice to turn and face him, kind of open this up.
Chris fighting the hands, trying to protect his neck.
He's safe there.
Bubba going to spin behind.
Keep the wrist.
Not sure where that blood's coming from on Bubba.
Above the left eye, if I'm not mistaken.
If Chris can keep the wrist, he's going to stop Bubba. He's going to end up reversing him again.
Yep, he is. They're awfully sweaty.
Bubba
trying to get his other hook in. Chris Wade could be in trouble here.
Now incumbent upon Wade to make sure that he keeps this posture. He's grabbed the head of Bubba Jenkins.
Bubba's high. Bubba's high. He's going to come out the back.
Little shake right here, and he would be out.
Here he comes. Out the back.
Chris Wade. Cradle.
Once again, wrestling his way to top position against a former NCAA Division I national champion.
Gonna try and submit him. He's got the choke. He's trying to sink it tight. He's got no hooks, no anchor. Could end up a full mount here.
Season 1, Chris Wade at 155 pounds, lost in a semifinal, razor-thin decision loss to the eventual champion, Natan Schultz. In Season 2, it was much the same story at 155 pounds. Chris Wade was told, look, if you want to be part of Season 3, you're going to have to do it somewhere else. He said, fine, I'll be a featherweight. I'm cutting down to 145 pounds, and I'm going to keep my strength and power. And he is convincing everybody that that was the right decision as he out-wrestles Bubba Jenkins now, 40 seconds away from a trip to the PFL World Championship on October 27th, right here in this same building.
Chris wants this finish. He wants it really bad.
Hunting a choke here. Still squeezing, wrenching on the neck of Bubba Jenkins.
This is a master class in control. The things that Bubba, here's the good news for Bubba. He learned something here tonight. What he learned is that cage will work against you or for you. You gotta practice.
Chris Wade celebrating the victory even as the clock ticks down. A final word for Bubba Jenkins. And Chris Wade, barring anything insane from the judges, is headed to his first PFL championship bout. Cageonomics Stats Bundle presented by Geico. Look, if Bubba had all the takedowns, we need a stat for reversals to tell you the real story of this fight.
You ready, red? Wrong one, you ready, blue?
Woo, there's the rich energy replay for you, right up over the top. Big choke attempt here. Randy Bubba had to float over the top, but he had to address every one of those submission attempts.
Absolutely. Here's a nice cradle by Chris Wade. Does a nice job of taking Bubba back and putting him on the bottom for the first time in this fight. Here's a nice hook. Right hand just misses by Bubba Jenkins. Here's another attack on Bubba's neck by Chris Wade. Here's the, again, when a guy gives up position and rolls out like that, you know that is tight. There's a little wheel kick, catches Bubba in the eye, gives him a lash. And here's the little, maybe a little premature celebration before the clock had actually run out.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. And the totals are 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28. All for your winner by unanimous decision and clinching a spot in the 2021 PFL World Championship, Chris Wade.
We look at our tail of the tape for this main event brought to you by Presidente. Brendan Loughnane, 1 year older, 3 inches taller. Each man weighed in at the featherweight limit of 146 pounds. 1 inch reach advantage in the arms for Brendan Loughnane. Lillian Garcia, one last time.
Fight fans, this is your main event. This fight is brought to you by the Florida Athletic Commission, and it's in the featherweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a striker. Standing at 5'9", he officially weighs in at 145 3/4 pounds. In 24 professional fights, he has a record of 21 victories and 3 defeats, with 13 wins by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Manchester, England, here is your #1 seed, Brendan Loughnane. His opponent fighting out of the red corner, he is a wrestler. Standing at 5'6", he officially weighs in at 145 3/4 pounds. In 19 professional fights, he has an undefeated record of 17 victories, 1 draw, and 1 no contest, with 8 wins by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, here is your number 4 seed, Movlid Khaybulaev. Your referee in charge, Keith Peterson.
Movlid Khaybulaev, the 4 seed, but also the favorite. Brendan Loughnane did not like that one bit all week long. Keith Peterson will oversee our main event. Movlid Khaybulaev in the green trunks, Brendan Loughnane in the black and gray. Feints from Loughnane, backing up Movlid Khaybulaev, who we know likes to time leaping attacks. Catches a leg kick, and right down to the back goes Brendan Loughnane.
Good timing on that. It was the timing that set that up. Little change of elevation as the kick's coming in. Penetration forward, head to the chest, off balance. Goes Brendan, and Brendan right now is trying to bother Movlid. I would like to see him digging underhooks. I would like to see him getting the opposite hip down and starting to look for an escape. That's what he told us he could do so well.
There you go. I'd like to see him unlock his feet, get his feet and legs back in this fight, get a foot on a hip, pick a side, circle towards that underhook on that side and find his way back up.
Chael, you warned all night long throughout the rest of the action about throwing those naked leg kicks. You got to finish with kicks, finish combinations with kicks. We saw Brendan Loughnane open a combination with a leg kick, and he ended up on his back for those efforts.
Sure, and when you're taking on a guy that you are worried and you do respect his wrestling prowess, sometimes you make those investments. You take those risks, chop down the legs, slow him down a little bit. Sean, I do agree. Set it up with the hands, disguise that kick at the end of your combination.
Punches from the top and the bottom here. Brendan Loughnane is scoring some to the side of Movlid Khaybulaev's head as he's trying to isolate Movlid's left arm in a straight arm bar over the shoulder, but
Brendan has a couple of options here, guys. First off, create space. He can straight arm the head or dig that underhook, start to stand up. Secondly, back. Move yourself to the fence and start to wall walk. Staying right down right here, not the greatest idea. I would like to see Brendan get his body going this way, get over towards that fence and wall walk. Laying right here, problem. No underhooks, problem.
take a look through the PFL Smart Cage with our Ghost Cam. Round one, just about halfway gone here. Movlid Khaybulaev has been on top at the close guard of Brendan Loughnane for 2+ minutes.
Loughnane done a good job of tying Khaybulaev up and not letting him land any clean shots, but he's losing minutes in this round by closing his guard and staying on his back. He's got to get his feet back on the hips of Khaybulaev, create some space, create a scramble, tie an arm up, pick a side and try to get back up, get elevation.
And a concern that Brendan and Brendan's coaches need to have is, look, both these guys are detectives right now. They're storing away clues. And Movlid just learned, take him down in the middle, hold him here is a pretty good strategy. That's why it is so important Brendan get the scramble going, get back up to the feet, and change the dynamic of this contest.
Hey, there you go. Minute and a half, Brendan.
Left hand comes over the top from Movlid Khaybulaev once again.
That's not in the fight, Brendan.
And you talk about storing away clues. Sometimes it takes a minute or two, as you well know, to figure out how to get strikes around the guard from the top. Movlid has scored on about 3 of his last 5. He's starting to figure out the timing of Brendan's defense and his offense from the back.
Sure. Listen, we saw the fight. I'll make a comparison, but Khabib versus Conor McGregor. One difference I'm seeing here is Brendan has a closed guard in the middle of the cage. That's problematic. If you're in the middle of the cage, you're not using that wall as a help. You better open your guard and be scrambling. Brendan has a closed guard. That means he's gone to a defensive posture, not offense.
Did you make that comparison because it's a Dagestani against the guy with an accent, Chael?
You know, I think there was probably something to do with the fact that, yes, one of the Eagle, Khabib's guys, is in there and maintaining top control. I think it is relevant. And perhaps Brendan's a little lost at where he's at, which is also a comparison to the way that fight played out with Ian McGregor.
Ian McGregor.
Khaybulaev now stacking up the hips of Brendan Loughnane, who has finally opened his guard. We approach the 10-second mark here. Brendan Loughnane, the 1 seed, has been on his back.
There's
and
the
finally
scramble.
back to his feet in the final few seconds. Oh! And Khaybulaev sends him back down one more time. He headed to the championship on October 27th. He wants to know who he's fighting. Movlid Khaybulaev in the green trunks, Brendan Loughnane in the black and gray with a sharp jab. FPR score and fan verdict vote in the favor of Khaybulaev after the early takedown. Nice low kick from Brendan Loughnane.
We'll be interested what differences and what changes is Brendan going to make, what adjustments. He now respects the takedown. He understands the problem of being in the center of the cage, but he's still feeding those feet to him. It's almost as though he's daring Movlid. One more time. Come on in, big guy.
It appears that Movlid is 100% focused on Brendan Loughnane and his hands as well.
Big swing from Movlid Khaybulaev. Loughnane's able to move outside of range.
That's almost nervous energy by Khaybulaev in this standing position.
I think Brendan learned. Little space isn't bad between us. I see him favoring that jab just a little bit more.
Nice return by Khaybulaev.
Yeah, the right hand found the jaw of Brendan Loughnane, who spins around on a missed kick.
When he throws that jab, something should come behind it. Maybe a high kick, but also that cross. He's gonna have to let a little power go at some point to get that round back.
Take a look inside the red corner of Movlid Khaybulaev.
What? You push him to the cage. Yes. Watch for his mistakes. Don't rush it. Take your time. 2 minutes has passed now. You show him. You are the one leading the fight. You set up your rules. You gotta take him down. 3 minutes left. You have to take him down. Everything is excellent. You see everything. To the other side. To the other side. Move to the other side.
The corner of Movlid calling for a takedown. No surprise there. Much more measured pace here in round number 2. Movlid has yet to really commit to a takedown attempt. Loughnane circling around the outside. Movlid controlling the center of the smart cage.
Movlid starting to put him in the corner.
Nice right hand by Loughnane.
Yeah, Movlid starting to put him in the corner, starting to stalk him a little bit.
Now he presses Brendan Loughnane to the barrier. He's got one leg, head outside, grabs the second.
Two minutes!
And now you've got the killer on your back.
Get up, Brendan! Just get up! Hands, fight them hands, Brendan! Fight them hands!
Brendan's going to need to fight those hands, push his hips forward.
Slide that left arm underhook in.
Left arm underhook! Come on, up against Brendan!
Popping that head up. Let's pop the head up right now. Step up and hand fight. Step up and hand fight.
Be the dog, Brendan, be that dog!
Let's try to get that posture here.
Come on! Minute and a half!
Brendan has the right idea. He's lacking some of the fundamentals and the experience here, but he has the right idea. Getting himself into that fence. Now he starts to need to push those hips forward. He's let them come back. He needs to drive them forward. He's got a hold of the right tool, but by the wrong end.
Movlid Khaybulaev controlling the left leg of Brendan Loughnane, hanging heavy and pressuring against the cage here. Winner of this fight will meet Chris Wade in a 2021 Featherweight World Championship right here on October 27th. Now Movlid goes to work with the left hand. No answer from Brendan Loughnane on the bottom. More left hands from Movlid, who's got the handcuff on the right arm of Brendan Loughnane. He's only got one hand to defend himself.
Well, this is a finishing position. If he keeps going and stays busy here, okay, he's lost the seatbelt.
A dominant final 30 seconds of the round for Movlid Khaybulaev, who will finish on top with round 3 ahead. One more playoff spot, one more championship spot. Movlid Khaybulaev, Brendan Loughnane. Khaybulaev in the green, Loughnane in the black and gray. FPR and fans give rounds 1 and 2 to Movlid Khaybulaev. I don't think they'll find any disagreement from the broadcast table. Randy, what does Brendan Loughnane have to do here?
He's got to make something happen in this 3rd round. He's got to work at staying off of his back, and he's got to let his hands go. It's too late to the low kicks and try and take some of his mobility away. He's got to step in the pocket and let his hands go.
Well, that low kick earned him a straight right hand and a left hook from Movlid as well. This is where the boxing of Brendan Loughnane has got to pay dividends.
Yes, yes. Face down, face down. Stay on your toes.
Brendan's marching him down. That does surprise me a little bit. Movlid was the one cutting the ring off before. Movlid showed us at the very end of that 1st round. He sprinted, he changed elevation, he really covered some distance for that double. He hasn't gone back to that weapon.
4 minutes. Make it pace, not miss.
1 minute already gone here in round number 3. Winner moves on to face Chris Wade in the 2021 PFL World Championship.
Come on, when he moves in up, 1, 2 in. Then back again.
Nice uppercut there. Brendan Loughnane has Movlid Khaybulaev stumbling. Has him a little bit hurt. Can't allow the killer too much time to recover. Movlid circling. Brendan Loughnane landed an uppercut and an overhand right, and waited another 40 seconds to throw another punch.
Got to be careful. Can't get too overzealous and press and then get taken down again and lose the round. He's got to bide his time. At the same time, he's running out of time. So
blood from the nose of Movlid Khaybulaev. Brendan Loughnane perhaps making a late push here.
Brendan hasn't moved that right hand this round, guys. Is he suffering some hand injury? Did something happen here?
No, it was his left hand that was injured, rumor would tell us. Coming out of his last regular season fight, he threw the uppercut with the right hand, and then kind of that hook slash overhand with the right, and there it goes again. I think the left hand might be the problem.
I'm speaking to Movlid here.
Oh, excuse me.
Movlid's right hand has not been involved in this round. And a takedown for a strike. And I'm just making the observation. It would seem that Movlid would want to get this back to the canvas where he's been safe for the previous 2.
There comes the right hand from Movlid Khaybulaev. And now he's in on the leg. Brendan Loughnane reaching for the switch. Movlid negates it, elevates both legs, and once again ends up on top inside of 2 minutes remaining.
Movlid is bleeding from somewhere. I can see the blood coming down on Brendan's chest. Is that what it is?
yeah, his nose.
Randy, the bridge or coming out the nostrils?
I think it's coming out the nostrils.
All right.
It was a solid right hand by Loughnane that caused the probably broken nose.
I'll tell you what, Brendan hasn't quit fighting. He's been put in bad positions, I acknowledge, but he's trying to win this match. Cage control. That's the lesson for tonight. Even right now, Randy, I believe he should turn. I'm talking about Brendan. Get his head on the fit, work to his back and shoulders, and start to wall walk. I think perhaps it's a skill he's yet to refine.
He was looking like he was doing a lot of wall wrestling in that video going into this fight. But I think he's dealing with a different animal here than a lot of the wrestlers we've seen.
Well, how many fights have we seen against the Dagestani where people think they put in the necessary work, and they step inside the cage to find that the pressure is just a little more relentless, just a little bit heavier, just something different. Brendan Loughnane trying to reach over, perhaps for a Kimura grip, abandons that. Movlid Khaybulaev heavy on the hips, knowing full well that he's already banked some, probably 2 rounds. And even if this wrestling doesn't win him round number 3 after he took some damage to the face, it's stopping Brendan Loughnane from mounting any offense. Here comes the 10-second clapper. Brendan Loughnane trying to shake Movlid Khaybulaev off his back. He will be unsuccessful as the round comes to a close. 3 5-minute featherweight rounds in the books. Another featherweight semifinal finished. One look at our Cageonomics stats bundle. Over 100 strikes landed from Movlid Khaybulaev. And of course, the 4 takedowns. Decision next.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecard. Judge John Rupert scores the contest 30-27 for Movlid. Judge Daniel Torres scores it 29-28 for Loughnane. And Judge Elian Rodriguez has it 29-28 for your winner by split decision and clinching a spot in the 2021 PFL World Championship, Movlid Khaybulaev.